Romantic Tales. Chapter 21. Really? Thank you. I'll go now. After Yang Ming finished speaking, he heavily patted Wang Jitao's shoulder twice. It seemed like a friendly gesture, but in fact Yang Ming used a lot of force. Wang Jitao grimaced in pain from the slap. If it was any other time he would definitely be angry. But now, all he wanted was for Yang Ming to leave the school as soon as possible. He didn't want to cause any more trouble, so he pretended to be happy. He smiled bitterly and said, "You're welcome." Yang Ming laughed and walked out of the classroom. As soon as Yang Ming left, Wang Jitao's phone vibrated. Wang Jitao picked it up and glanced at it. Then he raised his head and looked around. When he saw that no one was paying attention to him, he pressed the answer button. "Hello, Abayu, have you arrived?" Wang Jitao lowered his voice and covered his mouth as he spoke softly. "Young master, I'm sorry." Zhang Biao immediately apologized. "What do you mean? You didn't find anyone?" Wang Jitao was confused. He didn't know why Zhang Biao started to apologize as soon as he picked up the phone. "No, young master, this Yang Ming isn't simple. The two little pawns that I found not only didn't dare to do anything when they saw that the person they were going to beat was him, but they even greeted him with a smile." Zhang Biao complained. "How could that be?" Wang Jitao was stunned. "That's not right. Did you see Yang Ming?" Wang Jitao suddenly remembered that Yang Ming had just walked out of the classroom. "Definitely. Oh yeah, young master." Yang Ming turned around and went back to school. "You have to be careful." Zhang Biao didn't know that Wang Jitao had already seen Yang Ming. Fuck. Wang Jitao hung up the phone. Only then did he realize that Yang Ming had obviously guessed that he was the one who had found the person and had come back to trick him. Thinking of this, Wang Jitao was so angry that he almost threw the phone away. Since they had already shed all pretense of cordiality, Wang Jitao wasn't afraid of anything anymore. Since he couldn't do it openly, he would use underhanded methods. He didn't believe that Yang Ming would be able to hide from him forever. Yang Ming hummed a tune as he walked home. He bumped into Li Dagong, who was coming out of the billiard room. "Sure, buddy." Li Dagong's sudden words made Yang Ming stunned. "Okay, what?" Yang Ming was at a loss. "Fuck, you're still pretending. Recently your grades have been rising sharply. Teacher Zhao had praised you a few times in our class. Even the usually serious Iron Face Old Li also praised your progress." Li Dagong said. Iron Face Old Li was Yang Ming's class teacher. He taught biology. He had a straight face all day long, hence his name. Class 7 and Class 8 were opposite classes. The teachers who taught were the same people. Since the last biology test, Yang Ming had repeatedly cheated in exams. His grades were like riding a helicopter. Naturally, he became the model of the hardworking underachiever. "Of course, who do you think I am?" Yang Ming boasted shamelessly. "Do you have any secrets to teach me?" Li Dagong asked. "It's just reading. There's no secret to learning," Yang Ming said perfunctorily. I'm stupid. It's better to kill me than to learn. Forget it, I'm just going to graduate from high school. Then I'll find a job," Li Dagong said with disappointment. Yang Ming saw his expression and almost told him about the glasses. However, he changed his mind. "Absolutely not. This secret can't be told to anyone. Otherwise, it might bring a lot of unnecessary trouble." This pair of glasses was only a cheating tool for Yang Ming. But what if it was in the hands of other people? If it was used to commit crimes? Yang Ming didn't dare to imagine. Fortunately, his mouth wasn't that fast. Otherwise, he wouldn't even know how he died. Thinking of this, Yang Ming couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. It's okay. Everyone has their own ambition. Every profession has its own master. Look at Su Peng. He's living a good life now. Some college students don't earn as much as he does. Yang Ming comforted him. "You're right." Li Dagong patted Yang Ming's shoulder and said, "Thank you." Yang Ming was a bit inexplicable. "I just comforted him. What's there to thank me for?" He didn't know that after Li Dagong heard it, he was suddenly enlightened. The haze in his heart was swept away. "Are you going to Su Peng's place in the afternoon?" Li Dagong asked. "I'm not going. I have to work hard before the college entrance exam," Yang Ming said with a smile. Thinking of Qin Mengyan and Zhao Ying's expectations of him, Yang Ming's mouth curved up slightly. "Big Ming, looking at the report card you brought back recently, you improved a lot." Yang's father looked at Yang Ming, who was wolfing down the food on the table, and said, "You went to Miss Zhao's place every night to study mathematics. I was discussing with your mother. Should we visit her and buy something for her? It's okay, Dad. Yang Ming swallowed a mouthful of rice and said, Miss Xiao isn't that kind of person. How can that be? Miss Xiao contributed a lot to your improvement. How can we not thank her? Yang's father shook his head. It's really okay. Yang Ming wanted to say that Zhao Ying was already his godsister, but he thought about it and didn't say it. He was afraid that his father would have some ideas, so he said, Dad, I will treat Miss Xiao to a meal one day. That's fine too. Yang's father nodded and took out a 100 yuan bill from his wallet and put it on the table. He thought about it and took out another one. Then he handed the 200 yuan bill to Yang Ming and said, Find a high-class place. In the afternoon, Wang Jitao didn't find trouble with Yang Ming. Wang Jitao also realized that he seemed to have underestimated Yang Ming's strength. It wasn't that he didn't want to take revenge, but he was waiting for an opportunity, waiting for a suitable opportunity. This time when he failed to teach Yang Ming a lesson, it also aroused the ruthlessness in Wang Jitao's heart. He didn't want to use the rubbish method of looking for small gangsters anymore. He also knew that it was useless against Yang Ming. He was ready to give Yang Ming a fatal blow and get rid of this thorn in his side forever. Of course, this fatal blow wasn't to kill Yang Ming. He didn't have the guts. He wanted to find a way to ruin Yang Ming's reputation. Suddenly Wang Jitao, who frowned, grinned. It was a kind of sneer. Although Yang Ming knew that the person at noon was found by Wang Jitao, there was no definite evidence and he didn't take it seriously at all. However, Wang Jitao did something that surprised him. Chapter 25. The skinny man was stunned. When he saw that his accomplice was defeated in 2 moves, he was angry. Kid, which gang are you from? You ruined my business. Yang Ming had already defeated one. At this moment he had full confidence in his heart. He wasn't afraid. He glanced at the skinny man and said, You didn't follow the rules first. Originally you could have taken the money and left. We have nothing to do with each other. You forced me to make a move. Kid, you have such a big tone. Then I will accompany you to practice. The skinny man quickly kicked over. Yang Ming was shocked. This guy looked thin, but his skills weren't weak. He was much more agile than the one with the knife. No wonder he was hit by his punch. It wasn't a coincidence. Although the skinny man was fast, Yang Ming wasn't weak. He had participated in dozens of gangsters before. He was experienced in hundreds of battles. She easily dodged his kick and then kicked out with a kick of her own. The skinny man quickly stepped back. Yang Ming's kick missed. However, Yang Ming didn't care because the first kick missed was nothing. The ruthless move was the second kick. This was a move that Yang Ming had tried many times. He used it a few days ago when he fought with Jin Gang. However, the skinny man didn't know that. When he saw that Yang Ming's kick missed, he let down his guard. He didn't expect Yang Ming's second kick to follow. Peng, the skinny man saw that Yang Ming's foot landed on his chest. Then he fell to the ground with a sharp pain. He suddenly saw stars and felt that his lungs were going to explode from the kick. Yang Ming didn't look at him because there was no need to look. After being hit by Yang Ming's flying kick, no one could get up. Yang Ming picked up Zhao Ying's handbag on the ground. He turned around and came to the skinny man's side. He reached into his pocket for a long time and took out a stack of banknotes. Among them was Yang Ming's 200 yuan. Yang Ming estimated that there were about 3,000 to 4,000 yuan. Originally, Yang Ming wanted to take his 200 yuan. However, he thought that this money must be the ill-gotten wealth of these two guys, so he stuffed it into his pocket. Originally, Yang Ming wanted to leave, but he saw the skinny man with blood in his mouth and nose. Yang Ming used all his strength just now. At least a few 100 kilograms of explosive force smashed on the skinny man's chest. It would be strange if there were no internal injuries. Yang Ming saw that this guy looked like a skeleton. He was afraid that if he died he would become a murderer. So he thought for a while and came to the IC card phone on the street. He called 110 and said that he saw 2 injured people lying on the side of the road. Not long after, the sound of a police car could be heard from afar. Yang Ming thought that the efficiency of the police was quite high now. Only then did he feel relieved and leave. Looking at the empty street in front, it seemed that Zhao Ying had escaped far away. Yang Ming shook his head. It wasn't a good thing to be with a beauty. He was robbed twice in a row. Although the first time was because of Jin Gang, in the end it was because of Zhao Ying's beauty. Just as Yang Ming was looking left and right to find Zhao Ying, Yang Ming suddenly found a person behind the garbage bin not far in front of him. It can't be such a coincidence, right? Do I look like a rich person? Across the garbage bin, Yang Ming took a closer look and couldn't help but be stunned. It turned out that the person was Zhao Ying. She was carefully poking her head out from behind the garbage bin and looking in his direction. The distance between the two was very far. Yang Ming could see Zhao Ying clearly, but Zhao Ying couldn't see the situation clearly. Yang Ming raised the handbag in his hand and waved it twice, indicating that she was fine. After Zhao Ying confirmed that the alarm had been lifted, she came out from behind the garbage bin and ran to Yang Ming's side. She patted her bulging chest and said, "You scared me to death, Yang Ming, are you okay?" As she said that, she quickly pulled Yang Ming's arm and asked with concern. Yang Ming stared at Zhao Ying's chest lustfully and muttered, "How good would it be if I patted it twice?" Zhao Ying didn't hear what Yang Ming said, and she couldn't see Yang Ming's expression in the dark. She asked curiously, "What did you say?" "Nothing, sistering. Look, I'm disfigured. What am I going to do if I can't find a wife in the future?" Yang Ming pointed at the bruises on his face and joked. Yang Ming only took a punch this time, and it wasn't as serious as last time. It was just that it was on his face, so it looked more frightening. Zhao Ying saw that half of Yang Ming's face was swollen and exclaimed, "It's so swollen, and you still have the mood to joke." "I'm not joking. I'm concerned about my marriage. A person's face is a tree's bark is a tree's bark. My face has become like this and I've lost the meaning of life." Yang Ming's face was actually fine. It wouldn't take a night for the swelling to subside. In the past, when he fought with people in the underworld in junior high, it was common for people to use bricks to smash his head into a bloody gourd. However, that was when Yang Ming went out to mingle. Later on, it was Yang Ming who smacked others into a bloody gourd. "Yang Ming, can you be more serious?" Zhao Ying was a little angry. "I already said that I'll be your wife in the future. Let's go to the hospital now, okay?" Zhao Ying was anxious and directly said, "I'll be your wife in the future." After saying it, she felt that it was inappropriate. She said this sentence on the premise that Yang Ming couldn't find a wife. However, now that she had said it, if she added it, it would seem pretentious. In that case, if Yang Ming felt that she was fooling him and caused a misunderstanding, it wouldn't be good. Seeing that Yang Ming didn't have any special expression, Zhao Ying thought that he didn't understand. Although Yang Ming's language score wasn't good, it didn't mean that his literary level wasn't good. He just didn't understand the meaning of the poem and the meaning of the borrowed words, but he had a lot of research on words and sentences. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to refute Zhao Ying until she was speechless every time. He couldn't wait to have a tape recorder next to him. He could record Zhao Ying's sentence as evidence. Then his marriage would be settled. Little did they know in this world, how many lovers' vows and vows had turned into fleeting clouds with the passage of time. "Then you have a deal?" Yang Ming felt that Zhao Ying wasn't a person who didn't keep her words. "It's a deal. Let's go to the hospital." Zhao Ying was anxious about Yang Ming's injury, so she couldn't care less. "Why go to the hospital? Let's go to your house," Yang Ming suggested. "Go to my house. Why are we going to my house?" Zhao Ying was stunned. "I just promised this brat. Does he want me to be his wife now?" Thinking of this, Zhao Ying's face turned red. Chapter 26. "Please, I don't need to go to the hospital for such a small injury. I can just go to your house and apply some medicine. Sistering, don't tell me you are thinking the wrong way?" Yang Ming scratched his head and smiled. What am I thinking about? I am just worried about you." Zhao Ying was exposed and her face was red. Fortunately, there was the cover of the night, so it wasn't so embarrassing. However, she didn't know that Yang Ming had a panoramic view of Zhao Ying's expression. Dark vision was a piece of cake for the current Yang Ming. This girl is quite shy. Yang Ming thought in his heart, but he didn't say it out loud. There was a distance from the house that Zhao Ying rented. When the two people came, they were talking and laughing. But now, because of the incident just now, the two people weren't in the mood to walk. Zhao Ying was worried about Yang Ming's injury, so she stopped a taxi at the front of the street. The two people sat in the back together. "Young man, what happened to your face? Did you meet some bad guys?" The driver looked at Yang Ming and started the car. "Ugh, I just met two robbers." Yang Ming nodded. "The security in this area has always been not peaceful. I usually don't drive here at night. I just sent a guest back and saw that you two were a couple. Otherwise, I really didn't dare to pull you." The driver shook his head and said, "Couple?" Yang Ming and Zhao Ying looked at each other. Yang Ming's eyes couldn't help but have some pride. With such a beautiful woman being recognized as his girlfriend, Yang Ming's vanity was very good. Zhao Ying knew that he was injured now, so she was too lazy to care about this with him. She just rolled her eyes at him. Little girl, I can see that this young man loves you very much. When you are in danger, he can stand up and protect you. This is very rare. A few days ago, I read in the newspaper that a couple was kidnapped. In the end, the man didn't even let out a fart and ran away, leaving his girlfriend there. Sigh, such a good girl was ruined by those people. The chauffeur said with a sigh, that man is really a good for nothing. However, I've seen plenty of such situations. Husband and wife are birds in the same forest, but when disaster strikes, they fly separately. Little girl, you have to cherish the happiness in front of you. The driver's sigh made Zhao Ying blush. Recalling that Yang Ming had saved her twice, Zhao Ying's heart couldn't help but sway a little. Yes, as a woman, if there was a man who treated her like this, then she would be satisfied with her life. Sweet words and pledges of eternal love were all pale lies. Only in adversity could one see the true feelings. Zhao Ying suddenly felt that Yang Ming was a person who was worthy of being trusted for life. Thinking that she had promised to be his wife, she couldn't help but look forward to it. Zhao Ying suddenly shook her head. What am I thinking? He is my student and he is younger than me. Maybe after he graduates he will forget about me. And today's words will only be taken as a joke. Zhao Ying didn't say anything, but Yang Ming said casually, Big brother driver, my girlfriend is too attractive. To tell you the truth, this is the second time. The little girl is beautiful, so you can't blame her. Just come out as little as possible at night. The driver said, Right, this is my business card. It seems that you and I are quite compatible. In the future, if you go out at night, just call me and I will pick you up. No matter how ruthless the criminals are, they wouldn't dare to touch a car, right? Yang Ming took the business card and looked at it. On it was written, Songjiang City Xunfa Taxi Company driver Sun Kuan. Brother Sun, thank you. Sometimes it is hard to get a taxi at night. Yang Ming kept the business card and thanked him. My friends call me Brother Kuan. You can call me that too. This is the place you said, right here. Sun Kuan stopped the car at the entrance of Zhao Ying's neighborhood. How much? Yang Ming made a fortune today, so he naturally didn't care about the fare. I will pay. Zhao Ying said as she opened her handbag to take out her wallet. Forget it, it is not far, less than 2 kilometers. Sister-in-law, quickly go back and apply medicine for this little brother. Sun Kuan waved his hand and lifted the meter. Thank you, Brother Kuan. When Yang Ming heard Sun Kuan call him sister-in-law, he knew that Sun Kuan was a forthright person. If he continued to push him, it would be inappropriate. So he nodded and thanked him. Brother Kuan, my name is Yang Ming. I am a student of Songjiang No. 4 High School. Come and visit me when you are free. Of course. I like your character very much. I will drink with you another day. Sun Kuan said. That's a promise. I can drink a lot. Yang Ming smiled. When Zhao Ying heard the word drink, she couldn't help but frown slightly. Yang Ming was her student, but her identity in front of Sun Kuan was Yang Ming's girlfriend. So she couldn't say anything. She just pinched Yang Ming's waist. This pain made Yang Ming grit his teeth. When Sun Kuan drove away, he shouted, Let go. Are you a crab? Don't you know that I am injured? When Zhao Ying heard Yang Ming say this, she quickly let go of her hand. But she thought that something was wrong. Yang Ming's face was injured, but his waist wasn't injured. She knew that she was cheated by him. Zhao Ying learned her lesson last time. This time she didn't use the key to open the door directly. Instead she knocked on the door. After a while, Yang Ming heard a pleasant female voice. Obviously it was Wang Xiaoyan who lived with Zhao Ying. If Yang Ming hadn't seen her tattoo that looked like a delinquent girl, he would have thought that she was a very pure girl just by hearing such a clear voice. It's me. Open the door. Zhao Ying said. Sister hates you. Why didn't you bring the key? After saying that, the door opened. Wang Xiaoyan was only wearing a tight pink vest and a pair of light yellow underwear. Her hands were constantly on her mouth as she yawned. She said with sleepy eyes, Sister Ying, I was asleep. You woke me up again. Yang Ming looked at the scene in front of him and felt his blood boil. Wang Xiaoyan's petite body was wrapped in 2 thin pieces of cloth. Not only was it not covered, but it also outlined a perfect curve. The most terrible thing was that this little devil didn't wear a bra at all. Under the vest, the 2 protruding points were faintly visible. Zhao Ying was now full of black lines. She regretted it. If she had known this would happen, she would have taken the key and opened the door herself. Last time Wang Xiaoyan was bathing. Although Yang Ming went to the bathroom, he couldn't see anything through the bathroom's glass. This time everything was exposed. The most terrible thing was that Wang Xiaoyan didn't realize that a man was standing in front of her. Chapter 27. Yeah, what's wrong? Yang Ming saw Zhao Ying's expression and asked strangely, "Is this your towel? I'm just using it. You can't be so stingy, right?" When he passed by a few bars near his home, he heard the deafening howling. So late yet so loud. Isn't this disturbing? Yang Ming stopped and looked at the bar with disgust. Then he turned around and wanted to continue walking forward. Suddenly he was pulled by someone. "What are you doing?" Yang Ming thought, "If I want to look at you, it's useless even if you cover it up. It's useless even if you close the door." Yang Ming had already determined that Wang Xiaoyan was a delinquent girl in his heart, so he couldn't bear to see her pure and innocent appearance. "Yang Ming, are you done? Why are you so slow?" Zhao Ying pointed at the towel Yang Ming used to wipe his face and opened her mouth wide. "Big brother. You," Zhao Ying thought, "you're not afraid of being seen by me, but there are other people in front of you. My friend is here. If you're not afraid to look, then so be it. Big brother. You want to?" The girl stuttered for a long time but couldn't say anything. "Sister, and you can't blame me. Besides, I didn't see anything." Yang Ming looked at the angry Zhao Ying and explained helplessly. Yang Ming thought, "I've already told my family that I'll treat you to dinner today. It's okay to go back a little later. But the key problem is, what about my face? If I go back like this, I'll inevitably be questioned again." "What's the matter?" Yang Ming asked strangely. "You go to the bathroom and wash your face. I'll apply the medicine for you. It's already 10 o'clock. If you don't go back now, your family will be worried." Zhao Ying looked at her watch and said worriedly, "Humph." Wang Xiaoyan snorted coldly. She covered her chest with one hand and her lower body with the other. She quickly ran into her bedroom and slammed the door shut with a bang. Yang Ming turned around and found that the person who pulled him was a girl with delicate features. She was wearing a school uniform. Zhao Ying saw Wang Xiaoyan running back to the bedroom. She shook her head and thought, "How many times have I said it?" This little girl just ignored it. "This time, let's see if you learn your lesson next time." "What else do you want to see?" Zhao Ying pointed her finger at Yang Ming's forehead. "Speak the truth. Hyun, why is it you again? Did you know each other before?" Yang Ming didn't know about this. He was just complacent because he used Zhao Ying's towel. If he knew the truth, he didn't know whether to be happy or helpless. "How? I was wondering." Yang Ming directly played dumb. Yang Ming came to the bathroom and saw the empty bathroom. He couldn't help but let his imagination run wild. His mind flashed with the image of Wang Xiaoyan's delicate figure bathing. His lower body began to stir again. Yang Ming quickly turned on the cold water and washed his face. He picked up a pink towel on the towel rack and wiped his face. The towel still exuded a faint and pleasant smell of a girl's body. Yang Ming couldn't help but sniff for a while. Zhao Ying applied the medicine to reduce swelling on Yang Ming's face. Although the injury looked terrible, it was not half as bad as last time. Yang Ming wanted to sit for a while, but he saw that Zhao Ying was yawning again and again. He got up and said goodbye. Girls generally paid more attention to personal hygiene. They usually separated the towels used to wipe their face, feet, and lower body very carefully. This pink towel was used by her to wipe her lower body. Yang Ming actually used it to wipe his face. Zhao Ying felt shy. Wasn't this the same as sticking her lower body to his face? Yang Ming's bicycle was gone, and there were very few empty cars in the vicinity. Yang Ming could only walk home like last time. Zhao Ying didn't doubt Yang Ming's words. After all, Wang Xiaoyan and he usually didn't interact. Zhao Ying thought that maybe when Yang Ming came last time, Wang Xiaoyan peeked through the door and saw Yang Ming's appearance. "I'm so sleepy. I can't even open my eyes." Wang Xiaoyan still slowly walked forward. "What's wrong?" Yang Ming saw that Zhao Ying came in. He was embarrassed to take the towel and smell it. He pretended that he had just finished wiping his face and hung the towel back. "Xiaoyan, why don't you put on your clothes at home?" Zhao Ying anxiously stomped her feet. This Wang Xiaoyan was too careless. A big man was standing in front of her, but she didn't see it. She was still twisting and turning there to show off. "It's me, beauty. You should say, how old are you? Why is it always you?" Yang Ming smiled and stretched out his right hand to greet Wang Xiaoyan. He thought, aren't you just a little girl? Let me see what I can do. Who knows how many men you've been ridden by? Just use that to wipe your face? Zhao Ying asked with a strange expression. Spend the night with me? Yang Ming was stunned. It can't be. This little girl is a support girl. Looking at her pure appearance, Yang Ming couldn't believe that she was a young lady. But then he remembered that little girl Wang Xiaoyan. He couldn't help but curse in his heart. His mother these days, the more pure things look, the more lewd they are. Sistering, it's already midnight. I've already slept. Why are you still wearing clothes? Besides, I'm not afraid of being seen. Wang Xiaoyan continued to stagger forward. What do you want to say to me? If it weren't for Yang Ming seeing that she was a beauty, he would have been impatient. He would be in a hurry to go home. I want to ask you, do you want to find me, to accompany you, to spend the night with you? The girl stammered, her small face was completely red. No, actually I forget it, it's nothing. Zhao Ying felt that her face was a little hot. She began to speak incoherently. Sister Ying, why haven't you come in yet? Wang Xiaoyan didn't even look at Zhao Ying. She turned around and walked to her bedroom. Her round little butt swayed, making Yang Ming's heart jump. When Zhao Ying heard the conversation between the two, she found it strange and funny at the same time. What she didn't understand was that Wang Xiaoyan seemed to know Yang Ming. There was no reason. Last time when Yang Ming came, she didn't come out of her room. Sister Ying, you're talking nonsense. Who would come this late? Just halfway through the sentence, Wang Xiaoyan seemed to feel that something was wrong. She woke up a little and quickly turned around. Why is it you again? Chapter 28. Yeah, what's wrong? Yang Ming saw Zhao Ying's expression and asked strangely, is this your towel? I'm just using it. You can't be so stingy, right? When he passed by a few bars near his home, he heard the deafening howling. So late yet so loud. Isn't this disturbing? Yang Ming stopped and looked at the bar with disgust. Then he turned around and wanted to continue walking forward. Suddenly he was pulled by someone. What are you doing? Yang Ming thought, if I want to look at you, it's useless even if you cover it up. It's useless even if you close the door. Yang Ming had already determined that Wang Xiaoyan was a delinquent girl in his heart, so he couldn't bear to see her pure and innocent appearance. Yang Ming, are you done? Why are you so slow? Zhao Ying pointed at the towel Yang Ming used to wipe his face and opened her mouth wide. Big brother. Zhao Ying thought, you're not afraid of being seen by me, but there are other people in front of you. My friend is here. If you're not afraid to look, then so be it. Big brother. You want to? The girl stuttered for a long time but couldn't say anything. Sister, and you can't blame me. Besides, I didn't see anything. Yang Ming looked at the angry Zhao Ying and explained helplessly. Yang Ming thought, I've already told my family that I'll treat you to dinner today. It's okay to go back a little later. But the key problem is, what about my face? If I go back like this, I'll inevitably be questioned again. What's the matter? Yang Ming asked strangely. You go to the bathroom and wash your face. I'll apply the medicine for you. It's already 10 o'clock. If you don't go back now, your family will be worried. Zhao Ying looked at her watch and said worriedly. Humph. Wang Xiaoyan snorted coldly. She covered her chest with one hand and her lower body with the other. She quickly ran into her bedroom and slammed the door shut with a bang. Yang Ming turned around and found that the person who pulled him was a girl with delicate features. She was wearing a school uniform. Zhao Ying saw Wang Xiaoyan running back to the bedroom. She shook her head and thought, how many times have I said it? This little girl just ignored it. This time, let's see if you learn your lesson next time. What else do you want to see? Zhao Ying pointed her finger at Yang Ming's forehead. Speak the truth. Hyun, why is it you again? Did you know each other before? Yang Ming didn't know about this. He was just complacent because he used Zhao Ying's towel. If he knew the truth, he didn't know whether to be happy or helpless. How? I was wondering. Yang Ming directly played dumb. Yang Ming came to the bathroom and saw the empty bathroom. He couldn't help but let his imagination run wild. His mind flashed with the image of Wang Xiaoyan's delicate figure bathing. His lower body began to stir again. Yang Ming quickly turned on the cold water and washed his face. He picked up a pink towel on the towel rack and wiped his face. The towel still exuded a faint and pleasant smell of a girl's body. Yang Ming couldn't help but sniff for a while. Zhao Ying applied the medicine to reduce swelling on Yang Ming's face. Although the injury looked terrible, it was not half as bad as last time. Yang Ming wanted to sit for a while, but he saw that Zhao Ying was yawning again and again. He got up and said goodbye. Girls generally paid more attention to personal hygiene. They usually separated the towels used to wipe their face, feet and lower body very carefully. This pink towel was used by her to wipe her lower body. Yang Ming actually used it to wipe his face. Zhao Ying felt shy. Wasn't this the same as sticking her lower body to his face? Yang Ming's bicycle was gone, and there were very few empty cars in the vicinity. Yang Ming could only walk home like last time. Zhao Ying didn't doubt Yang Ming's words. After all, Wang Xiaoyan and he usually didn't interact. Zhao Ying thought that maybe when Yang Ming came last time, Wang Xiaoyan peeked through the door and saw Yang Ming's appearance. I'm so sleepy. I can't even open my eyes. Wang Xiaoyan still slowly walked forward. What's wrong? Yang Ming saw that Zhao Ying came in. He was embarrassed to take the towel and smell it. He pretended that he had just finished wiping his face and hung the towel back. Xiaoyan, why don't you put on your clothes at home? Zhao Ying anxiously stomped her feet. This Wang Xiaoyan was too careless. A big man was standing in front of her, but she didn't see it. She was still twisting and turning there to show off. It's me, beauty. You should say, how old are you? Why is it always you? Yang Ming smiled and stretched out his right hand to greet Wang Xiaoyan. He thought, aren't you just a little girl? Let me see what I can do. Who knows how many men you've been ridden by? You just used that to wipe your face? Zhao Ying asked with a strange expression. Spend the night with me? Yang Ming was stunned. It can't be. This little girl is a support girl. Looking at her pure appearance, Yang Ming couldn't believe that she was a young lady. But then he remembered that little girl Wang Xiaoyan. He couldn't help but curse in his heart. His mother, these days the more pure things look, the more lewd they are. Sistering, it's already midnight. I've already slept. Why are you still wearing clothes? Besides, I'm not afraid of being seen. Wang Xiaoyan continued to stagger forward. What do you want to say to me? If it weren't for Yang Ming seeing that she was a beauty, he would have been impatient. He would be in a hurry to go home. I want to ask you, do you want to find me, to accompany you, to spend the night with you? The girl stammered, her small face was completely red. No, actually I forget it, it's nothing. Zhao Ying felt that her face was a little hot. She began to speak incoherently. Sister Ying, why haven't you come in yet? Wang Xiaoyan didn't even look at Zhao Ying. She turned around and walked to her bedroom. Her round little butt swayed, making Yang Ming's heart jump. When Zhao Ying heard the conversation between the two, she found it strange and funny at the same time. What she didn't understand was that Wang Xiaoyan seemed to know Yang Ming. There was no reason. Last time when Yang Ming came, she didn't come out of her room. Sister Ying, you're talking nonsense. Who would come this late? Just halfway through the sentence, Wang Xiaoyan seemed to feel that something was wrong. She woke up a little and quickly turned around. Why is it you again? Chapter 29. Dad, I really treated Miss Zhao to dinner. Yang Ming didn't cover his face anymore. At this moment, Yang Ming's face was no longer swollen, but there were still some bruises. If one didn't look carefully, they wouldn't be able to see it. Lin Jiyun didn't notice it just now, but now that the lights in the living room were shining, it could be seen as long as one paid attention. You still dare to lie? You really pissed me off. Then what happened to your face? Yang's father asked agitatedly. It doesn't matter if you made a mistake. As long as you know how to admit it, it's fine. But you actually quibbled with me. My child's father, don't be so agitated. There may be some misunderstanding. Mother Yang quickly mediated. What misunderstanding? Was the bruise on his face caused by a car accident? Yang's father sneered. Little brat, don't think that I don't know. I thought it was strange last time. I looked for a mechanic to check your bicycle. He said that it wasn't caused by a car accident, but was smashed by someone. Then I saw that you were studying hard, so I didn't expose you. I didn't expect you to lie to me again and again. Yang Ming finally knew why his father was so angry. It was because the previous incident had been exposed. Yang Ming didn't hide it anymore. He told his parents about the robbers on the road. Is what you said true? According to what you said, you met robbers last time and this time. Isn't that a coincidence? You can even win the lottery with this probability? Yang's father obviously didn't believe that a person could encounter robbers twice in a row. Yang Ming said in his heart. The nature of these two groups was different, but he couldn't explain it. He just nodded and said, in fact it is like this. Do you think that I will believe it? You have lied to me once and now you come up with such a lame reason to fool me? Yang's father's face was very ugly. Right, I have Miss Xiao's phone number. Dad, if you don't believe it you can call Miss Xiao. Yang Ming suddenly thought that Xiao Ying could testify for him. Yang's father looked at Mother Yang. Mother Yang nodded. Yang's father turned his head and said, well then you can call her. Yang Ming took out the phone book and found Xiao Ying's phone number. Then he picked up the phone and dialed it. After the ringtone for a while, Xiao Ying's lazy voice came over the phone. Hello? Oh, Miss Xiao, I am to say, Yang Ming was Sister Ying's name. He almost called her wrong several times. Yang Ming? Why are you calling me so late at night? Don't you know that your sister is sleeping? Xiao Ying's exasperated voice came over. Miss Xiao, my face is injured. My dad thought that I was fighting with others. He didn't believe that I met a robber, so please explain to him. Before Yang Ming finished speaking, the phone was taken away by Yang's father. Miss Xiao, I am Yang Ming's parent. It's like this. Yang's father hung up the phone and his face recovered a smile. He said to Yang Ming, Big Ming, I wronged you. So that's the case. You did the right thing. You're a man now. Although Teacher Zhao is your teacher, she's also a woman. It's only right for you to stand up for her. It's also necessary. You are indeed my Yang Dahai's son. After learning the reason of the matter, Yang's father was very happy. He told Yang Ming to have a good rest and to prepare a few good dishes for him tomorrow. It was a silent night. The next morning Yang Ming came to school and saw a few policemen standing not far from his school gate. Xiao Ying was also there. They were talking about something. Sister Ying, what's wrong? Yang Ming walked over and looked at Xiao Ying. He didn't know why these policemen came to school to look for Xiao Ying. Yang Ming, you came at the right time. These policemen are looking for you. Xiao Ying saw Yang Ming and quickly greeted him. You are Yang Ming? Asked the leader of the policemen. Yes, why are you looking for me? Asked Yang Ming. The leader of the policemen and the others looked at each other and said, I am Qin Fei, the criminal investigation captain of the city police station. Please come with us to the station. Go to the station? For what? Yang Ming thought, I didn't seem to have done anything wrong, right? Police comrade, didn't you say that you just wanted to understand the situation? Why do you want to take him away? He's my student. He has to stay in school for classes. Xiao Ying saw that the people were going to take Yang Ming away. Obviously she was unwilling. Yang Ming, you are suspected of a murder case. You must come back to the police station with us for investigation. Qin Fei took out his ID from his pocket and shook it in front of Yang Ming. Then he said seriously. Me? Suspected of murder? Yang Ming was stunned. Can't be, right? Did you make a mistake? Who did I kill? Whether you made a mistake or not, you will find out when you go back with us. It is useless for you to say it now. Qin Fei waved his hand and the other two policemen held Yang Ming's arms. What are you doing? I am his teacher. I won't allow you to take him away. Xiao Ying got along with Yang Ming these days. The two people had some feelings. How could she just let people take Yang Ming away? Sorry, Miss Xiao. We are also performing official duties. Please don't interfere with us. Qin Fei said. Sister Ying, you go back first. I will go with them. It's okay. I didn't really do anything wrong. I believe that the investigation will be clear soon. Yang Ming saw that he had to go today. Not to mention that the summons was brought. If he didn't go, he would be violating the law. Then you be careful. I will go to the principal. Xiao Ying nodded and said. Yang Ming nodded and said to Qin Fei, you ask them to let me go. I will go with you. Qin Fei looked at Yang Ming and said to the two policemen, let him go. After the two policemen listened, they let go of Yang Ming. Yang Ming followed Qin Fei and got into the police car. After arriving at the police station, Yang Ming was immediately taken into an interrogation room. A policeman wanted to handcuff Yang Ming, but Qin Fei shook his head and stopped him. Qin Fei sat at the interrogation table opposite Yang Ming. Next to him was a policewoman who was holding a notebook and preparing to record. He didn't believe that I met a robber, so please explain to him. Before Yang Ming finished, the phone was taken away by Yang's father. Miss Xiao, I'm Yang Ming's parent. It's like this. Yang's father hung up the phone and his face recovered a smile. He said to Yang Ming, Big Ming, I wronged you. So that's the case. You did the right thing. You're a man now. Although Teacher Zhao is your teacher, she's also a woman. It's only right for you to stand up for her. It's also necessary. You are indeed my Yang Dahai's son. After learning the reason of the matter, Yang's father was very happy. He told Yang Ming to have a good rest and to prepare a few good dishes for him tomorrow. It was a silent night. The next morning, Yang Ming came to school and saw several policemen standing not far from his school gate. Xiaoying was also there. They were talking about something. Sister, what's wrong? Yang Ming walked over and looked at Xiaoying. He didn't know why these policemen came to school to find Xiaoying. Yang Ming, you came at the right time. These policemen are looking for you. Xiaoying saw Yang Ming and quickly greeted him. You're Yang Ming? Asked the leader of the policemen. Yes, why are you looking for me? Asked Yang Ming. The leader of the policemen and the others looked at each other and said, I am Qin Fei, the criminal investigation captain of the city police station. Please come with us to the station. Go to the station? What for? Yang Ming thought. I didn't seem to have done anything wrong, right? Police comrade, didn't you say that you just wanted to understand the situation? Why do you want to take him away? He's my student. He has to stay in school for classes. Xiaoying saw that the people were going to take Yang Ming away. Obviously she was unwilling. Yang Ming, you are suspected of a murder case. You must come back to the police station with us for investigation. Qin Fei took out his ID from his pocket and waved it in front of Yang Ming. Then he said seriously. Me? Suspected of murder? Yang Ming was stunned. Can't be, right? Did you make a mistake? Who did I kill? Whether you made a mistake or not, you will find out when you go back with us. It is useless for you to say it now. Qin Fei waved his hand and the other two policemen held Yang Ming's arms. What are you doing? I am his teacher. I won't allow you to take him away. Xiaoying got along with Yang Ming these days. They already had some feelings for each other. How could she just let people take Yang Ming away? Sorry, Miss Xiao. We are also performing official duties. Please don't interfere with us. Qin Fei said. Sister, you go back first. I will go with them. It's okay. I didn't really do anything wrong. I believe that the investigation will be clear soon. Yang Ming saw that he had to go today. Not to mention that the summons was brought. If he didn't go, he would be violating the law. Then you be careful. I will go to the principal. Xiaoying nodded and said. Yang Ming nodded and said to Qin Fei, you ask them to let me go. I will go with you. Qin Fei looked at Yang Ming and said to the two policemen, let him go. The two policemen let go of Yang Ming after listening. Yang Ming followed Qin Fei and got into the police car. After arriving at the police station, Yang Ming was immediately taken into an interrogation room. A policeman wanted to handcuff Yang Ming, but Qin Fei shook his head and stopped him. Qin Fei sat at the interrogation table opposite Yang Ming. Next to him was a policewoman who was holding a notebook and preparing to record. Chapter 31. Captain Chen, why did you listen to him? What's there to investigate? Xia Shui was puzzled. Isn't it just an attempted robbery? Is there a need to mobilize so many people? I felt that something was wrong at the time. If I'm not wrong, there is definitely a problem with this person. Qin Fei looked at Yang Ming and said, thank you for reminding me just now. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to figure out what happened. Xia Shui snorted with some disdain. She didn't think that a high school student could have any ability. After a while, the policeman who just went out ran back excitedly. As soon as he rushed into the interrogation room, he shouted, Captain Chen, this time we have made a contribution. The photos of these two people were just sent to the police stations around the country. Not long after, Province S called urgently. These two people are wanted there for robbery, rape and murder. Sure enough. Qin Fei slammed the table and stood up. He walked in front of Yang Ming and said, young man, it seems that not only are you not wrong, but you have made a contribution. Yang Ming breathed a sigh of relief at this time. Since these two people were wanted criminals, then there shouldn't be a big problem. Sure enough, after a while the people from the technical department also came. According to the signs of fighting at the scene and the degree of overlap of the fingerprints on the dagger, it could be concluded that Yang Ming fought back after his life was threatened. According to the information sent from Province S, the thin man was called Ji Shuixing. He had kung fu and his modus operandi was extremely brutal. He killed 3 people in Province S and none of the victims could survive from his hands. From this, It could be determined that Yang Ming's behavior was legitimate self-defense. Little comrade, I'm sorry to have delayed you for so long. Your behavior is righteous and very worthy of praise. I am going to the bureau chief to give you a reward. Qin Fei was talking when the door of the interrogation room opened. The person who came in was a middle-aged man, followed by Zhao Ying and the principal of Songjiang No. 4 High School. Bureau Chief Wang, why are you here? Qin Fei was talking about Cao Cao, but he didn't expect Cao Cao to arrive. Well, my old classmate found me and said that a student from their school was brought back by you. He asked me to see what was going on. Bureau Chief Wang Aigua pointed to Principal Li Yuejin and said, Yang Ming, are you okay? When Zhao Ying saw Yang Ming, she was happy. She quickly ran over to hold Yang Ming's hand, but she suddenly remembered that Principal Li was still behind her, so she quickly stopped her hand. However, his worried expression was clearly visible on his face. When Yang Ming was taken away by the police, Zhao Ying's heart was in a mess. This was the first time in her life that she had such a feeling of being at a loss. She didn't feel anything at first, but when something happened to Yang Ming, Zhao Ying felt that her heart was about to be twisted together. He didn't expect Zhao Ying to come so quickly, and she even invited Principal Li. Young man, how was it? Old Qin didn't torture you, right? Bureau Chief Wang Aigua came over and said with a smile. Bureau Chief Wang, don't you know who I am? Qin Fei shook his head and smiled bitterly. I was just kidding. Old Qin, why did he come in? Bureau Chief Wang pointed at me and asked. Killing people. When Qin Fei talked about work, his expression naturally became serious. What? Murder? Bureau Chief Wang was stunned after hearing it. Just now his old classmate found him and said that a student was arrested. He didn't say what happened, so Bureau Chief Wang thought it was a small fight. Even Principal Li was stunned. He didn't know the situation beforehand. He just heard from Zhao Ying that a student was arrested by the police. Bureau Chief Wang, don't get excited. Listen to me. Yang Ming did kill someone, but it was in self-defense. The person he killed was a fugitive from S province. This is what happened. Qin Fei reported the details to Bureau Chief Wang. So that's the case. I was wondering. When I came in, I saw that he didn't even wear handcuffs. If he really killed someone, how could it be so easy? Bureau Chief Wang suddenly realized. Old Li, this time your school is famous. There is a little hero. I will definitely give you credit and let the TV station promote you. Principal Li was relieved. It seemed that this was a good thing. So he smiled and said, as long as there is nothing wrong, it's fine. But the promotion, I think we should forget about it. Why? Bureau Chief Wang was puzzled. This was a good opportunity to promote the school. Why would Principal Li not want it? Yang Ming was also puzzled, but he had the same idea as Principal Li. Even if Principal Li didn't say it, he would have taken the initiative to settle this matter quietly. He didn't want his parents to worry about him. Although it was self-defense, it was still murder. He was afraid that his parents wouldn't be able to accept it. Yang Ming is now a senior in high school. He will take the college entrance examination in 2 months. I don't want this to affect his studies. If the TV station or something comes, he will definitely be distracted. So this honor is better than nothing. After Principal Li finished, he looked at Yang Ming. Yang Ming, you won't blame me for taking away your chance to be famous, right? In an instant, Yang Ming was so excited that tears almost came out. After listening to Principal Li's words, he felt that Principal Li was really a good principal. He was a principal who thought about his students. He was afraid that it would affect his studies, so he rejected such a good opportunity for promotion. One had to know that this was the dream of other schools. What's wrong, Yang Ming? Principal Li is doing this for your own good. You won't be angry, right? Zhao Ying saw that Yang Ming's emotions were a little off, so she quickly persuaded him. She was afraid that he would say something inappropriate. Principal Li, thank you. Yang Ming bowed deeply and said, this is what I wanted to say. I'm still a student. The most important thing now is to get into a university. So, I hope that Bureau Chief Wang can agree to this request of mine and Principal Li. Good. Not bad, young man. Bureau Chief Wang gave him a thumbs up. You are young but not greedy. Very good. Old Li, I really admire you for bringing up such a good student. Yang Ming, I am very happy that you think this way. You are right. As long as you get into a good university, it will be 100 times better than all those honors. Your results will be the best reward for the principal and teacher. Principal Li patted Yang Ming's shoulder and said, "It's good. This matter will be handled according to what you said. Keep a low profile. Qin Fei, you will handle this matter. If you need any instructions, just look for me. Bureau Chief Wang instructed Qin Fei. But when she heard Principal Li's words, she had an indescribable feeling in her heart. When Zhao Ying saw Principal Li's calm expression, she knew that she was overthinking. Principal Li, you can rest assured. You and Bureau Chief Wang are old classmates. If I did anything to your student, Bureau Chief Wang would break my bones. Qin Fei smiled. After Principal Li and Zhao Ying got on the school's car, Qin Fei patted Yang Ming's shoulder. Young man, you must be upset. Come, what's up? Yang Ming didn't know how Qin Fei saw through his thoughts. When he was at the police station, he was very calm. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Come, let's sit. Qin Fei pointed at a bench in the police station's courtyard. Yang Ming looked at Qin Fei, nodded, and followed him silently. Yes, Yang Ming really wanted to find someone to talk to. Just now he wanted to tell Zhao Ying about his feelings, but he didn't say it. On one hand, he was afraid that Zhao Ying would be worried about him. On the other hand, Zhao Ying, who was not involved, would never understand Yang Ming's fear. Young man, how is it? Are you scared? Qin Fei leaned on the bench, lit a cigarette, and handed one to Yang Ming. Yang Ming didn't know why Qin Fei thought that he was a smoker, but he took it, lit it, and took a deep breath. Then he said slowly, I was scared at the beginning, but I'm much better now. Yang Ming didn't want him to look down on him. Oh. You are very promising, aren't you? I'm not afraid that you will laugh at me. I remember that when I just graduated from the police academy and started working, I vomited the whole night after I killed a criminal for the first time. And I was scared for a week. I even had nightmares at night. Qin Fei said as he patted Yang Ming's shoulder. Papinchin. When Yang Ming heard that Qin Fei, a policeman, was still like this, he finally couldn't hold back the depression in his heart. I'm so scared. The scene of that night kept flashing in my mind. Although I tried to stop myself from thinking about it, those scenes still appeared involuntarily. It was like they were engraved in my brain. Qin Fei listened and laughed. Young man, you are already not bad. You actually endured for such a long time. At least you didn't show any fear when you were in the police station. Otherwise, your image as a hero would be mocked. You don't have to feel ashamed. No matter who it is, when you kill someone for the first time, you will always have this feeling. But you have to remember that the person you killed was a bad person, so you don't have to have any psychological burden at all. You don't have to feel guilty about it. Think about it. If a person like Ji Shuixing isn't eliminated as soon as possible, how much harm will it bring to society? But, Papinchin, although this is the case, isn't it better for the police to do these things? If I could choose, I would rather let go of that Ji Shuixing. Yang Ming shook his head. Young man, you have the wrong idea. You're a real man. What is done is done. How can you regret it? From the perspective of a police officer, this kind of thing should be done by us, but think about it from another perspective. If you had chosen to back down that day, Ji Shuixing would have continued to do evil, and his targets could have been your friends, classmates, teachers, or even family members. Once the people around you are hurt, will you still feel regret? Qin Fei continued. Yeah. Yang Ming nodded. If he retreated, then Ji Shuixing would be more arrogant. Once he continued to commit crimes in Songjiang, the consequences would be unimaginable. If his family, Zhao Ying or Qin Mengyan, met him, then Yang Ming wouldn't be able to apologize even if he died. Thinking of this, Yang Ming was suddenly enlightened. There was also a smile at the corner of his mouth. Thank you, Captain Qin. I have figured it out. Yeah, it's good that you have figured it out. I'm not encouraging you to kill people, but I hope that when someone needs help, you can stand up bravely. Qin Fei put out the cigarette in his hand and said to Yang Ming, Young man, you are still a student. You can smoke a few cigarettes occasionally. Too much is harmful to the body. I got it, Captain Qin. Thank you. Yang Ming nodded his head sincerely. Go. I will send you back. Go home and have a good night's sleep. You can go to school easily tomorrow. Qin Fei stood up and walked like a police car. Chapter 33. After that, Bureau Chief Wang gave Yang Ming a certificate for his bravery and 20,000 yuan as a reward. Originally, Yang Ming wanted to reject it, but Bureau Chief Wang said that the money wasn't from the police station of Songjiang City, but from the bounty reward from Provinces, so it should be given to Yang Ming. Yang Ming opened an account in the bank and deposited the reward. Anyway, he wouldn't need it for a while. What made Yang Ming feel strange was that he had just killed someone last night. How did the police find him this morning? Wasn't the speed of solving the case too fast? However, after asking Zhao Ying, he understood that she was afraid that something would happen to Yang Ming last night. She took out her phone and called the police when Yang Ming was fighting with the criminals. The police followed this clue and found her. As for why the police came so fast yesterday, it was also because of this reason. They didn't come because Yang Ming called the police, but because Zhao Ying had already called the police. Yang Ming, why did you skip class yesterday? Qin Mengyan put her hands on her waist and stood in front of Yang Ming with an unhappy face. Yesterday? Yang Ming was taken to the police station yesterday, but how could this kind of thing be said casually? So he simply found an excuse and said, I had a cold yesterday, so I rested at home for a day. Oh, so that's the case. Qin Mengyan didn't care whether what Yang Ming said was true or false, so she believed him. Qin Mengyan saw that Yang Ming didn't come yesterday, so she was very angry. She thought that Yang Ming skipped class and went out to play, so she decided to question him today. But after hearing Yang Ming's explanation, Qin Mengyan didn't say anything more. No matter how Yang Ming explained, Qin Mengyan's heart would subconsciously believe it because she really didn't want to see Yang Ming as a bad student. You missed yesterday's class. What are you going to do? Qin Mengyan asked. In the past, when Yang Ming often skipped classes, she had never asked him about it. Now Qin Mengyan did not know why, but her heart could not help but think about Yang Ming. Yesterday, when Yang Ming did not come to school, she turned back to look at Yang Ming's seat several times. When school ended, she went home disappointed. Could it be that she had fallen for Yang Ming? Impossible, Qin Mengyan comforted herself. She felt that Yang Ming was able to study well because of her. He was like a student that she tutored. It was normal for teachers to care about their students. It's not like you don't know that I can't keep up with the school's revision progress. I've always been revising by myself, so I'm still learning at home. Yang Ming saw that Qin Mengyan was so concerned about him, and he felt an indescribable joy in his heart. A girl showing concern for a boy, what did this mean? Don't say that the class committee was concerned about the underachiever. That was pure bullshit. There were plenty of underachievers in the class. Why didn't she show concern for them? Thinking of this, Yang Ming could not help but feel a little complacent. Then what did you revise at home yesterday? Tell me, I want to check. Qin Mengyan said seriously. Qin Mengyan was a little surprised by her own actions. If it was the Qin Mengyan of the past, she would not say so much, let alone check other people's revision progress. One must know that in the third year of high school, time was money. I reviewed English yesterday. I have already memorized all the words in the first year of high school. Although Yang Ming could use his special ability to cheat during exams, he felt that learning more English would not do him any harm. English was different from other subjects. Other subjects might be useless in the future, but English was very practical. Whether it was going to university or looking for a job, it would be useful. Hey Yang Ming, tomorrow is Saturday. Don't forget. Wang Jitao suddenly walked over with a smile and said to Yang Ming. He was unhappy when he saw how close Yang Ming and Qin Mengyan were, but he had no choice. For his own big plan, he could only bear with it. What do you mean by don't forget Saturday? Yang Ming was stunned and didn't react. Didn't we agree? I'll treat you to a meal. Wang Jitao said as he winked at Yang Ming. Oh, it turned out to be this. Yang Ming finally remembered that Wang Jitao asked him out 2 days ago. But at that time, Yang Ming thought that Wang Jitao was just saying it casually, so he didn't take it to heart. Don't forget, tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, Heavenly Earth. Be there or be square. Wang Jitao patted Yang Ming's shoulder and returned to his seat. I'll let you have one last day. Next week I'll let you lose all your reputation and face. After Wang Jitao left, Qin Mengyan asked curiously, what did Wang Jitao say about tomorrow night at 6 o'clock? Treat me to a meal. I told you last time, but you didn't believe me. Yang Ming explained. Really? Qin Mengyan felt that it was a bit unbelievable. Go to Heavenly Earth. Yes, have you been there? Yang Ming nodded. No, but I heard that it was very expensive. Why would Wang Jitao treat you to a meal? Qin Mengyan felt that Wang Jitao and Yang Ming should be opposite. From Wang Jitao's previous attitude towards Yang Ming, it could be seen that he hated Yang Ming very much. Why would he take the initiative to treat Yang Ming to a meal this time? I don't know. Yang Ming thought about it, but he still didn't say that Wang Jitao found someone to beat him up. There was no evidence for this kind of thing. If Chen Mengyan questioned Wang Jitao and Wang Jitao said that Yang Ming was framed, then it wouldn't be good. Chen Mengyan didn't say anything and she couldn't say anything. Chapter 34. Yang Ming looked at his watch. It was exactly 5 to 6, so he swaggered to the heavenly world. "Excuse me, sir, are you here to eat?" The greeter at the entrance of the heavenly world looked at Yang Ming strangely. At this time Yang Ming was dressed as a student and he came alone. No wonder the greeter had this question. "Nonsense, if I don't eat, why would I come here?" Yang Ming was very uncomfortable with the question. Seemed like he was a beggar. "Oh, then please come with me." The greeter saw that Yang Ming's clothes were very ordinary. They were basically street goods. He didn't look like he could afford to come here. It was known that a meal at the heavenly world, even if it wasn't expensive, would cost hundreds of thousands of yuan. When he came to the service desk, Yang Ming suddenly remembered that he didn't make an appointment with Wang Jitao in advance, and he didn't have a mobile phone. This is bad. Could it be that this brat was deliberately tricking him? The greeter saw that Yang Ming's face was uncertain. She thought that he saw the luxury here and didn't have money to spend. She couldn't help but snicker. "Sir, do you want to eat or not? If you want to eat, I can let the front desk arrange a table for you. If you don't want to eat, then go out. I still have work to do." The greeter was sure that Yang Ming was a poor ghost, so she wasn't polite with her words. Yang Ming listened to the greeter's sarcastic words. He was a little angry in his heart. How can you treat a guest like this? He wanted to attack, but he was afraid that Wang Jitao was really playing with him. When the time came, he would play with fire. If he didn't eat here, others would laugh at him. Yang Ming was helpless. He had to try and ask the greeter, "Is there a person named Wang Jitao who booked a room here? Are you Wang's guest?" The greeter was stunned. His expression changed from disdain to flattery. "Oh, Mr. Yang, why didn't you say so earlier?" I'm sorry, I didn't serve you well just now, please forgive me." Yang Ming didn't know why the receptionist's attitude changed so much when she mentioned Wang Jitao. When he heard her call him Mr. Wang Jitao, he knew that it must be because Wang Jitao had greeted him in advance, so he snorted and said, "Then why aren't you taking me there?" Yes, Mr. Yang, please come with me." The greeter bowed and walked up to me. He turned sideways and extended his arms slightly in front of Yang Ming. It was as if he was welcoming a VIP. It seemed that Wang Jitao, that little bastard, did not lie to him. Could it be that this guy had really changed his mind? Yang Ming did not understand. "Mr. Yang, Wang is waiting for you in the purple gold pavilion in front." Taking the elevator to the 3rd floor, the greeter pointed to a private room and said, "And I know. This is none of your business. You can leave now." Yang Ming waved his hand and acted like a master. Yes, I didn't serve you well just now. Please don't tell Wang." The greeter nodded and bowed. Okay, I'll let it go this time." Yang Ming thought, why are the people here so afraid of Wang Jitao? What does this little bastard's family do? Seems that he is quite capable. Yang Ming pushed open the door of the private room and saw Wang Jitao sitting on the sofa smoking. "Damn, I thought you were a good person. Turns out that you are a heavy smoker like me." Yang Ming walked in casually. "I class monitor, sorry for making you wait." When Wang Jitao saw Yang Ming, he immediately stood up with a smile. He picked up a pack of cigarettes from the coffee table and stuffed it in Yang Ming's hand. "Yang Ming, you are here?" I just arrived." "Come have a smoke first. I will ask the waiter to serve the dishes." Then he put out the cigarette in his hand and turned around to leave the private room. Yang Ming glanced at the cigarette in his hand. Damn, it's actually Zhonghua. With so much money, Yang Ming usually only bought a box of white Ganoderma lucidum that cost 2 yuan. Yang Ming took one out and put it in his mouth. He lit it with a lighter. Then he took the opportunity when Wang Jitao went out to ask the waiter to serve the dishes. He put the remaining half of the Zhonghua into his pocket. It would be stupid not to take advantage of an opportunity. Especially Wang Jitao, this little bastard. It would be a waste not to take advantage of it. Yang Ming looked at the Zippo lighter in his hand. He thought about it and put it in his pocket. Anyway, taking one is taking two is also taking. After a while, Wang Jitao returned to the private room and said, "The dishes are all ready. They'll be served soon. Just wait for a moment." After saying that, he looked around for the cigarette that he had just smoked. "Are you looking for a cigarette?" Yang Ming scolded in his heart. "Smoking? I will kill you. Don't you know that smoking is harmful?" But he still put his hand into his pocket, but he didn't take anything out for a long time. No need, no need. You can smoke. I want another pack. Wang Jitao said and turned around to call the waiter. Get me 2 packs of Zhonghua. Wang Jitao glanced at the missing lighter and said to the waiter, Get me another lighter. Wang Jitao looked at Yang Ming with contempt. He thought poor people are poor. You want to pursue Chen Mengyan like this? You are really a toad who wants to eat swan meat. Soon the dishes were served. Yang Ming was dazzled. Wang Jitao was really willing to spend money. Abalone, sea cucumber, crab and prawns were served on the net. Yang Ming, come on. Eat quickly. There are only 2 of us here. There is no need for these formalities. I am also hungry. Wang Jitao invited Yang Ming to take a seat. Yang Ming was starving but Wang Jitao didn't say anything. As a guest he couldn't eat directly. Haha, I am also hungry. Then I won't be polite. Yang Ming directly picked up a big crab for himself and ate. Although Wang Jitao said that he was hungry, he didn't eat much. It was always Yang Ming eating. Is there any alcohol? Yang Ming ate for a long time and felt a little thirsty. Aye. Wang Jitao patted his head. Look at me. I forgot about this. What do you want to drink? Beer or drink? In his heart he thought, I am waiting for you to say this. Drink beer. Yang Ming felt that it would be a waste if he didn't drink such good food. Can you wait? I will ask for it. Wang Jitao turned and left the private room. Why did this guy become so attentive? Why did he ask for beer personally? What does he want to do? Could it be? Not good. Could it be that this guy wants to run away and leave me here to pay the bill? Yang Ming patted his thigh. I can't let him run away. Chapter 35. He wants beer. Are you ready? Wang Jitao said to a man not far from the door of the private room. Don't worry, young master. I promise it will look like the original factory product. The man assured. Well, I'll buy you. You arrange for the waiter to send it over later. Don't let him get it wrong. Wang Jitao nodded and said, Right, how's the next thing going? I've already asked the brothers below to go out and look for it. Zhang Biao said. Hee Yang Ming, I'm going to kill you this time. Wang Jitao sneered and said, Well, you go first. I'm going back. I don't want to be out for too long. This kid will think that I'm forcing him to come here to pay the bill. When Yang Ming thought of this, he quickly looked out of the door of the private room. He found that Wang Jitao was talking about something with Brother Biao from that day. Yang Ming could see them but he couldn't hear what they were saying. Yang Ming secretly regretted that he already had the legendary clairvoyance. If only he had the clairvoyance. However, Yang Ming was just imagining it. He knew that it was impossible. It was already amazing for a person to have a special ability. This was already the blessing of the heavens. How could it be endless? He was not a god. Therefore, Yang Ming made up his mind to find an opportunity to learn lip reading after the college entrance examination. This way he could also indirectly achieve the goal of clairvoyance. Did this guy want to find a few people to beat him up? There was no need to mobilize so many people, right? He even wanted to treat him to such a high-end banquet? Although Yang Ming felt that Wang Jitao was a villain, he was not an idiot. However, since Wang Jitao did not slip away, the rest was not Yang Ming's concern. He would deal with whatever came his way. He had to eat and drink his fill first. Have you been waiting for a long time? Wang Jitao pushed open the door of the private room and walked in. I just bumped into a friend and had a chat with him. Oh right, it's the guy who wanted to teach you a lesson last time. I told him that we're already good buddies, so he should be more respectful when he sees you in the future. Wang Jitao was indeed not an idiot. He had just gone out for a long time and was afraid that Yang Ming would peek at what he was doing at the door, so he did not hide it from Yang Ming. He took the initiative to tell him about going to see Zhang Biao, but the content of the conversation was changed by him. He was certain that Yang Ming couldn't hear what he was saying from so far away. In fact, Yang Ming really couldn't hear anything. After listening to Wang Jitao's explanation, Yang Ming's suspicion was dispelled. He did not expect Wang Jitao to not hide anything from him. However, the more Wang Jitao was like this, the more inexplicable Yang Ming felt. Very soon the waiter brought the beer up. A whole box was brought in. The beer was the kind that came in large glass bottles. It had to be said here that northerners were more forthright when it came to drinking beer. They rarely drank small glasses. Even in high-end restaurants where rich people ate, the most popular drink was still this kind of large glass bottle. Sir, how many bottles to open? Asked the waiter. Open 10 bottles first. I'll open 5 bottles each with this gentleman. After Wang Jitao finished instructing, he said to Yang Ming, "Let's drink the whole bottle from mouth to mouth. Don't pour it into the glass. It's too troublesome." Wang Jitao's suggestion was exactly what Yang Ming wanted. In the past, when he drank with Su Peng and the others at the food stall, they each took a bottle. Obviously, the waiter was instructed by Zhang Biao to take out the bottles for Yang Ming and Wang Jitao from the two sides of the box. Yang Ming did not have much social experience. Naturally, he did not notice this small detail. He picked up a bottle and raised it. "Class rep, let me toast you. I should be the one toasting you. Come, we brothers have a deep relationship. Let's drink in one gulp. Let's drink a bottle first." Wang Jitao also raised the bottle in his hand. Damn, this kid's alcohol tolerance is not small. He drank a bottle right away. Yang Ming thought. However, Yang Ming was not afraid of him. In the past, when they were at the food stall, they all stepped on the boxes to drink. Yang Ming finished more than 2 boxes in one go and drank for a whole day. Yang Ming saw that Wang Jitao had already started to drink. How could he let him win? He picked up the bottle and poured it into his mouth. After a bottle of wine, Yang Ming burped. He suddenly felt a little dizzy. Why is this wine so strong? I used to drink this brand, but it's almost the same as drinking water. Is it because I haven't drunk for a few months that my alcohol tolerance has deteriorated? Yang Ming shook his head. Wang Jitao was indeed drinking water. It was aerated tea. This was what he asked Zhang Biao to prepare in advance. Yang Ming was drinking a special high-alcohol beer. "I heard that you can drink a lot. Fortunately, I prepared well. See if I don't drink you to death this time." Wang Jitao picked up another bottle and said, "Brother, it was my fault last time. This bottle is my apology. I will drink first as a toast. You can drink as much as you want." After saying that, he raised his head and drank another bottle of beer. At this time, Yang Ming was already drunk. He also picked up a bottle and drank directly. Then he raised the empty bottle and said, "Okay, I will drink with you. Brother, you are so forthright. Come, let's drink while eating." Wang Jitao signaled the waiter to open a few more bottles. It seemed that this strong beer was not enough to kill Yang Ming. If it was a normal person, half a bottle would have made him drunk. The two of them went back and forth and drank another 4 or 5 bottles. This time Yang Ming did not need Wang Jitao to persuade him. He held the bottle and drank by himself. Wang Jitao saw the situation in front of him and finally breathed a sigh of relief. Drinking a stomach full of tea was really uncomfortable. It was almost coming out of his throat. He really couldn't understand how Yang Ming could drink it. Finally, Yang Ming was a little overwhelmed by the alcohol. He felt a little confused and then he did not know anything. Wang Jitao then stood up shakily and walked towards the door. He felt that his body was full of tea. Every time he moved, it would make a walla walla sound. "Young master, what happened to you? Why do you look so pale?" Zhang Biao asked with concern. "It's nothing. I drank a little too much tea. Help me to the bathroom first. Damn, I am so full." Wang Jitao complained. Chapter 36. How's that matter going? Wang Jitao happily peed out the last drop of urine. His whole body trembled as he felt extremely good. His bladder was finally free. It's done. The person has been caught and drugged. She's in the private room upstairs. Zhang Biao said. "Did you figure out her identity? Although my dad's words have some weight in Songjiang, don't get involved because of this matter." Wang Jitao thought about it and asked worriedly. "Don't worry, young master. The person was caught by Monkey and the others at the entrance of the city hospital. It should be that someone in her family was hospitalized, so she went to deliver food to them." Zhang Biao said, "Think about it. If the rich and powerful were to live in the intensive care unit, there would be 3 meals provided. Who would bring their own food? Bullshit. When I was circumcised, my mom personally cooked soup for me and sent it to me." Wang Jitao scolded. It could be seen that Wang Jitao was different from the other rich second generations. He had more brains than others. "Young master, I, Biaozi, am not that stupid. Of course, I investigated it thoroughly. This girl came down from the bus and she was wearing rustic clothes. She looked like a poor person." Zhang Biao said. "And that's more like it. Sco, help me carry this kid up. He looks quite strong. I can't carry him." Wang Jitao pointed at Yang Ming. "I'm here. There's no need for the young master to do anything." Zhang Biao carried Yang Ming on his back. He thought, "I'm not as strong as you, but you're the young master. The people in the hotel seemed to know Wang Jitao. They all greeted him with Wang Wang. Wang Jitao just nodded slightly. Is that her? Wang Jitao pointed at the girl on the bed and asked. She's quite beautiful. Yang Ming is really lucky. Wang Jitao sniffed the girl's body and said, she seems to be a virgin. There's still a body fragrance on her. Why don't you enjoy it first? Anyway, I'll push it to this kid. Zhang Biao smiled obscenely. Bullshit. Are you a police officer? Wang Jitao looked at Zhang Biao unhappily. This person is loyal, but his brain isn't enough. Zhang Biao didn't expect that his flattery would backfire, so he quickly shut up. Find a waiter to take her clothes off. Go. Wang Jitao finished and walked to the door. By the way, Zhang Biao, he's so drunk. Will the medicine work? Young master, don't worry. This was brought back by Monkey's friend from Japan. Even a dead body can get up and fuck a woman. Zhang Biao explained. Wang Jitao nodded after listening. Yang Ming only felt that his whole body was hot and dry. His lower body was already like a pillar supporting the sky. What's going on? He didn't have such a strong desire after drinking before. Although Yang Ming was a virgin, he also had sexual desire. That was when he watched AV, but it was not as strong as now. Yang Ming opened his eyes. The first thing that came into view was a woman's white body and then a room like a hotel. How is this possible? Yang Ming felt that it was incredible. Wasn't he drinking with Wang Jitao just now? Why did he suddenly come here? Yes, it must be a dream, a damn wet dream. But at this time Yang Ming's eyes were firmly fixed on the girl's body. Yang Ming also saw the appearance of a woman without clothes in AV, but now the real thing in front of him was very different from the AV. The strong sensory stimulation made Yang Ming's already congested yang root expand to the extreme again. Such a perfect body, coupled with a faint body fragrance, especially that pure and suffocating face, made Yang Ming's thoughts of committing a crime slowly rise. Anyway, it's a dream. It's a waste not to do it, Yang Ming thought. But why does this face look so familiar? But the things in the dream are familiar, so Yang Ming didn't think much about it. Yes, this is a scene that no man can resist. Yang Ming pounced on the girl like a wolf and forcefully penetrated the girl's body. The girl seemed to feel something and frowned in pain. The warm package made Yang Ming want to die. Isn't this dream too realistic? But people in desire are rarely rational. At this time, Yang Ming was completely addicted to the girl's body. The girl's two crystal-clear breasts were pinched in Yang Ming's hands, changing various shapes. It's about time, let's call the police. Wang Jitao put out the cigarette in his hand and said to Zhang Biao, get a digital camera ready in a while. When Yang Ming is taken out by the police, take a picture for me. I want to see if Qin Mengyan will still associate with a rapist. Young master, if that's the case, then wouldn't it be better to take a picture directly in the room? Zhang Biao forgot the pain after the scar healed and began to come up with bad ideas. Brain. Wang Jitao pointed to his head and said, please, can you use your brain when you speak in the future? Go in and take a picture. If this picture gets out, do you think we can still get away with it? If he is caught by the police, it can be seen by accident. If he goes in, it's obviously planned by us. After Zhang Biao heard this, he quickly nodded and said, young master is right. Otherwise, how can you be the young master? I'm just a driver. Wang Jitao listened to his nonsensical words, smiled and shook his head, took out his mobile phone and inserted a new SIM card. Hello, this is the 110 Police Center. Hello, I want to report a case. I am a guest of Heavenly Earth. When I passed by room 315, I heard a woman struggling for help and moaning during sex. Wang Jitao said, Sir, are you sure someone is calling for help? When the person who answered the police heard that it was Heavenly Earth, he couldn't help but ask a few more questions. As an entertainment place, it was not a secret that there were prostitutes in Heavenly Earth. Even if there was a woman moaning in the guest room, it was not easy to draw a conclusion. Yes, and I heard from a friend that the guest of room 315 returned to the room drunk, dragging a drunk female student beside him. Wang Jitao had already thought of an excuse. Okay, thank you for the clue. The person who answered the police immediately reported the situation to the police on duty. When the police on duty heard that it was a female student, he realized that the matter might not be simple and immediately rushed to Heavenly Earth. Chapter 37. Dong dong dong. The sound of the door being slammed made Yang Ming's whole body tremble. With a low roar, Yang Ming spurted out, gasping for breath. We are the police. The people inside, please open the door for inspection. There was a noisy shout outside the door. Yang Ming still hadn't recovered from this series of shock when he heard a bang sound. The door was knocked open and a few uniformed people rushed in. Why didn't you open the door? A male police officer came over and pulled Yang Ming away from the girl. Then he put 2 towels on Yang Ming and the girl and said to the female police officer next to him, "You help the girl put it on." "What are you doing?" Yang Ming's consciousness returned to his mind at this moment. "What's the relationship between this woman and you?" the male police officer asked. "I don't know her," Yang Ming replied woodenly. The effect of the alcohol made Yang Ming's brain swell, and there was no way to think about the whole story. The male police officer nodded to the female police officer and said, "Take him back first." Both of them knew that maybe this case was the same as what the informant said, a rape case. Of course, at the very least it was a prostitution case. The girl actually woke up a long time ago under Yang Ming's violent torment, but the severe tearing pain in her lower body and the shame of being humiliated made her not dare to open her eyes. At this time the girl heard the police coming and dared to open her eyes. Painful tears fell from her eyelids. Yang Ming's back was facing her, so she couldn't see the man who insulted her innocence. "Save me." The girl said 2 words in a weak voice, and then fainted again. The 2 police officers were more certain of the nature of the case, and the girl was undoubtedly a victim. The female police officer used a simple hood prepared in advance to cover the girl's face. Because the girl was the victim, especially this kind of case involved personal privacy issues. If it was exposed, it would have a very bad impact on the girl's life. However, Yang Ming was directly pushed out. Yang Ming was inexplicably handcuffed and escorted into the police car by the male police officer. As for Wang Jitao and Zhang Biao, they were hiding in the crowd and used their digital cameras to capture the scene of Yang Ming being escorted into the police car. "So it's you, brat." In the police car, Xia Shui finally recognized that the suspect in front of her was Yang Ming, who had just come to the police station 2 days ago. Yang Ming was a lot more clear-headed after being exposed to the cold wind. He looked at the policewoman in front of him for a long time and finally recognized her. "What's Officer Xia? You still haven't forgotten about me." I knew you weren't a good person, but Captain Chin actually believed you and asked the bureau chief to give you a certificate of heroism. This time you've finally fallen into my hands. Let's see what else you have to say." Xia Shui finally vented the resentment from a few days ago. "What's wrong with me?" Yang Ming was a bit inexplicable. "Am I still dreaming?" But this dream seemed to be a bit too long and too strange. "What's wrong?" "Raping a girl, I say. Yang Ming, your courage isn't small. A few days ago you killed someone and now you're raping a girl. Don't tell me you're also doing heroism this time." Xia Shui sneered. "I'm raping a girl?" Yang Ming suddenly patted his head. The scene just now suddenly flashed through his mind. The girl's painful moan, the frown, and the scarlet and bleak plum blossom print on the sheet. "Yes, it seems that I did have a relationship with a girl, but wasn't that a dream? Could it be true?" Looking at the heavenly earth outside the car window, it was still brightly lit and crowded. Yang Ming finally realized that he seemed to have done something stupid. Wang Jitao. It must be Wang Jitao. This little bastard framed me. Yang Ming angrily scolded in his heart. I already knew that this guy didn't have good intentions. How could I be so careless? I finally fell into his trap. It was as if Yang Ming could see Wang Jitao's smug face smiling proudly. His expression was as if he was saying, "Little guy, if you want to fight with me for Qin Mengyan, you can spend the rest of your life in prison. Fuck your ancestors." Yang Ming's hand that wasn't handcuffed slammed into the police car door. The car door was hit by Yang Ming with a bang. Yang Ming's anger could be imagined. "Kid, you're still not honest in the police car." Xia Shui saw that Yang Ming not only scolded people, but also dared to smash the car. She was so angry that she swung her baton at Yang Ming. Yang Ming felt a sharp pain in his back. He turned around and glared at Xia Shui. He didn't expect this policewoman to be so violent. However, this kind of injury was nothing to Yang Ming, who often fought. "Why are you staring at me? Do you believe that I won't hit you again?" Xia Shui felt a little guilty under Yang Ming's fierce stare. "Little girl, you dare to hit me." Yang Ming secretly swore in his heart that he must teach this self-righteous and grumpy Xia Shui a lesson. However, he still didn't dare to do things like beating a police officer. It was already difficult to clear his name. If he attacked a police officer, Yang Ming estimated that he would have to stay in prison for the rest of his life. Enough, Xiaoshui. You hurt him and you still have to pay for his treatment. The male police officer was really afraid that Xiaoshui would hit Yang Ming's head with the baton. Let's just treat him, Xiaoshui whispered. The police officer obviously had a lot of experience. He wasn't surprised. Along the way he didn't say a word, which made Yang Ming a little uncomfortable. The police car drove into the Songjiang City police station. Once they arrived at the police station, Yang Ming and the girl were separated. Yang Ming was once again taken into the interrogation room. At this point, Yang Ming was already a person who entered the police station for the second time. Same place, same people. The difference was that this case seemed to be lighter than the previous murder case, but in fact it was much more serious. When Qin Fei saw Yang Ming, he couldn't help but frown. He couldn't imagine that the person who stopped others from flirting with girls a few days ago would become a rapist today. Intuition told him that there must be some inside story. Chapter 38. As soon as Qin Fei entered the interrogation room, he smelled the pungent smell of alcohol. Qin Fei shook his head. It was said that alcohol was an enzyme and it was easy to mess up after drinking. It seemed that this saying was not wrong at all. Give him some sobering medicine, Qin Fei instructed the male police officer who brought Yang Ming in. In fact, Yang Ming was already awake, but he didn't know how to speak. Only a few hours had passed, but it felt like a lifetime had passed. Everything was like a dream, making Yang Ming unable to determine whether it was real or not. Yang Ming took the sobering tea handed over by the male police officer and slowly took a big sip before organizing his words. Captain Qin, I was framed. What did you say? Framed by someone? What happened? Qin Fei was stunned. When he heard Yang Ming say this, he immediately realized the seriousness of the matter. To be honest, he didn't want to see Yang Ming become a rapist. Captain Qin, this is the case. One of my classmates invited me to Heavenly Earth for a meal. Then we drank a lot of wine. After that, I got drunk. Not long after that, I felt my body burning up. I had that kind of desire. When I opened my eyes, I saw a girl lying beside me without wearing anything. I thought it was a dream at that time, so, said Yang Ming. Dream? You can't just have sex with others even if you're dreaming. Why is your self-control so bad? Qin Fei shook his head. Hearing Yang Ming say this, Qin Fei had a general understanding of the situation. Although Yang Ming might have been framed, raping a girl had already constituted a criminal fact. I don't know. Captain Qin, I won't hide it from you. I felt like I had taken an aphrodisiac at that time. I couldn't control myself. Yang Ming said with some embarrassment. Little Zhang, give him a urine test. When Qin Fei heard Yang Ming say that he had taken an aphrodisiac, he suddenly thought of something and immediately ordered the male police officer beside him. Yes. The male police officer stood up, then took a disposable paper cup and handed it to Yang Ming. What are you doing? Yang Ming was stunned. Qin Fei said, you reminded me just now. I suspect that your classmate gave you something like an aphrodisiac. Pee here. Yang Ming looked at the disposable paper cup in his hand. We're all men. What are you afraid of? Qin Fei laughed. All right. Yang Ming knew that Qin Fei was doing this for his own good. Without hesitation, he quickly undid his pants and peed into the disposable paper cup. Captain Qin, the girl's confession has come out. The door of the interrogation room was suddenly pushed open. Xiaoshui came in with a folder. When she saw Yang Ming holding a chick, she was stunned and immediately shouted, Rogue. Yang Ming's expression changed. Yang Ming was shocked by her sudden intrusion, and when she shouted, his hands trembled and half of his pee spilled onto the floor. Xiaoshui. How many times have I told you? You have to knock before you enter. Qin Fei scolded, what hooligan? According to your logic, you broke into the men's room and you're calling someone a hooligan? I humph. Xiaoshui glared at Yang Ming fiercely, but she glanced at the thing under Yang Ming's body. Her face was slightly red, but when she thought that it was Yang Ming's thing that bullied the girl just now, she really wanted to rush over and kick it. Yang Ming quickly pulled up his pants, fearing that this violent woman would do something to him. Xiaoshui, you go and do a urine test for him and then give the results to me as soon as possible. Qin Fei pointed at the disposable paper cup in Yang Ming's hand. Me. Xiaoshui was reluctant, especially when she saw that the side of the paper cup was sprinkled with urine. She was even more reluctant to touch it, but she had to obey the captain's order. Yang Ming deliberately pushed the paper cup into Xia Shue's hand, and it ended up peeing on Xia Shue's hand. Xia Shui was so angry that she really wanted to throw the urine on Yang Ming's face, but the captain was watching. If she really did that, she would probably be punished. The police department had a specialized testing agency, so the test results came out after 10 minutes. A large amount of aphrodisiac was found in Yang Ming's urine. It was the strong aphrodisiac that the ladies in Ginza, Japan often gave to their guests. It seems that you were indeed framed by your classmate. Xia Shui, you and little Zhang immediately go to Earthly Paradise and bring back the wine bottles from the Purple Gold Pavilion's private room for testing. Qin Fei said decisively. But Qin Fei was still one step too late. All the wine bottles in the Purple Gold Pavilion had already been taken away, and even the table had been wiped clean. All the evidence was destroyed. Immediately bring Wang Jitao back to assist in the investigation. Qin Fei gave the second task to Xiao Zhang and Xia Shui. Not long after, Xiao Zhang called back and said, Captain Qin, Wang Jitao refused to come back with me. What? If he didn't come, wouldn't you bring him back? Qin Fei asked. Wang Jitao's family is having a meal with several leaders. Wang Jitao said that if there was anything, I should look for his lawyer directly. Because I disturbed them, I was scolded by the leaders. Xiao Zhang said dejectedly. Forget it. You can come back. When Qin Fei heard that Wang Jitao actually had a lawyer, he knew that this matter was not so easy to handle. All the evidence against Wang Jitao had been eliminated. If he refused to admit it, Qin Fei couldn't do anything to him. Moreover, from the matter of having a meal with the leaders, it could be understood that Wang Jitao's family was definitely not ordinary. His parents were definitely people with power on the ground of Songjiang City. Even if there was evidence, Wang Jitao's crime was not a big deal. It could be easily settled with some money. In the end, the most that could make him admit was that he gave Yang Ming an aphrodisiac. What happened after that was Yang Ming's responsibility. Qin Fei shook his head and picked up Xia Shue's recorded statement to read. The victim was called Lin Jiyun. She was 18 years old this year. She was a senior high school student at Songjiang Normal University affiliated high school. When she was delivering food to her father, she was drugged with a handkerchief. When she woke up, she was already violated by Yang Ming. Chapter 39. Yang Ming. Although the results of the urine test can be determined that you were given an aphrodisiac, the evidence against Wang Jitao has been completely eliminated. From a legal point of view, we have no way to convict Wang Jitao. Qin Fei shook his head and said, You can also understand that for this kind of thing, Wang Jitao will leave himself clean with the help of a lawyer. Captain Qin, you also said that I was drugged. I thought I was dreaming at the time. When Yang Ming heard Captain Qin say that he constituted the crime of rape, he was suddenly stunned. Rape is a big crime. It is normal to be sentenced to 8 to 10 years. Yang Ming, although I sympathize with you, you have to know that the criminal law of our country has a provision for the crime of rape. It refers to the act of forcibly having sex with a woman against her will by violence, coercion, or other means. Qin Fei paused and continued, There is no negligent rape in the law, so no matter what the situation is, it is against the will of the victim to have sex with her. Moreover, in your subjective view, there is also the consciousness of having sex with the victim. The aphrodisiac is not an excuse for you to get away with the crime. You thought that you were dreaming, but this is only what you think and it is not a reason. So I can't say the final result. We have to wait for the court's decision. Yang Ming took a deep breath. At this moment he had calmed down a lot. Yes, no matter what the reason is, I am wrong. The girl is innocent. I hate that I shouldn't have believed Wang Jitao so easily and come to eat such a meal. Yang Ming finally understood what it meant to be greedy for small gains and suffer a big loss. The situation in front of him was the best example. Captain Qin, how many years do you think the court will sentence me? Yang Ming was now completely resigned to his fate. Now that things had reached this point, he could only face it calmly. Although Yang Ming was very regretful at this moment, he felt that he had wronged his parents and Zhao Ying. He really had no face to see them in the future. However, Yang Ming felt that he owed the girl the most. She was obviously the victim of his grudge with Wang Jitao. I've said it before. I can't say for sure. Based on past experience, the victim's testimony is the main basis for sentencing. The key is the victim's statement about the process of your crime. It's very likely that one sentence will play a crucial role. In the end, the court will make the final judgment based on the degree of injury suffered by the victim, Chen Fei explained. Can I see that girl? Although Yang Ming didn't want to ask for her forgiveness, he also hoped that she could understand that he was framed. I'm afraid that won't work. There has never been a case where the victim and the suspect have met in person, but I will explain your situation to the victim. Hopefully she will understand and put in a good word for you in her testimony. Chen Fei said, that's all I can do. Young man, don't be discouraged. Life is long. All roads lead to Rome. Aren't there many people in this world who have been reformed from prison and become pillars of society? Yang Ming nodded and said thank you softly. Although Xia Shui hated Yang Ming, this matter was related to Yang Ming's future. She didn't dare to be too careless. She still patiently told the process of Yang Ming being framed to Lin Jun. However, Lin Jun's mood was very bad at the moment. She was very agitated and didn't listen at all. She just kept saying that she wanted to bring Yang Ming to justice. When Xia Shui told the result to Yang Ming just smiled bitterly. He knew that there would be such a result. Why would she sympathize with him? Xia Shui suddenly felt that Yang Ming was very pitiful at this time. Looking at Yang Ming's somewhat sad face, Xia Shui couldn't help but sympathize with him. Originally he could have had a good future, but because of this accident his life would become another appearance. The case quickly came to a conclusion. Yang Ming was very cooperative and admitted all his crimes. Then he just had to wait to be transferred to the detention center. In an isolated room in the police station, Yang Ming saw his parents. After Yang Ming's father learned about this matter, it was obvious that he had aged a lot. Both of his temples had become a little gray. Big Ming, your mother and I don't want to say those words that blame you. You walked the road yourself. I hope this matter can teach you a lesson. Your mother and I will wait at home for you to change back. Yang's father's attitude was very calm. Big Ming, Mom believes that you didn't mean it, but the law is like this. The national law is ruthless. You don't have to be too resentful. Mother Yang persuaded with tears. Dad, Mom, I don't blame anyone. Everything was caused by me. I should bear this responsibility. But I have disappointed you. Yang Ming shook his head. He had thought it through. It wasn't a big deal. Wasn't it just going to prison? Moreover, he didn't have to worry about his future. He had a special ability now. Was he afraid that he couldn't make a lot of money in the future? Well, Big Ming, we are relieved that you can understand this truth. This is what a man should do. It doesn't matter. No matter what the court's judgment is, you can relax and change. After you are released, you can take over my job in the factory. It's not bad to be a workshop worker. Yang's father nodded. Yang Ming didn't let his parents tell the school and teachers about this matter. He didn't want Zhao Ying to be sad and he didn't want Wang Jitao to be proud. He would hide it for as long as possible. Then Yang Ming was taken to the detention center and waited for the date of the trial to arrive. Go in. Yang Ming was pushed into a dark and humid room. The iron door behind him closed with a bang. The poor conditions of the detention center were well known. There were even many people who would rather go to prison than go to the detention center. One was because the conditions here were poor. The other was because the management here was chaotic. There were all kinds of people and fights would happen from time to time. Brat, which fucking group are you from? As soon as the police left, a man as strong as an ox stared at Yang Ming and asked coldly. Yang Ming glanced at him and ignored him. Yang Ming didn't want to have anything to do with the people here. Fuck, Brother Leopard is talking to you. Are you fucking deaf? A thin man like a bamboo pole jumped up and grabbed Yang Ming's collar. Let go. Try and touch me. Yang Ming said disdainfully. With this physique he came out to show off. He was purely a sandbag. As soon as Yang Ming said this, 2 more people stood up in the cell. Including the bamboo pole, there was a total of 3 people. They were all staring at Yang Ming. Only an old man was squatting on his bed, indifferent to everything in front of him. Wait. The Iron Tower man made a gesture to the bamboo pole. You let go of him first. Humph. The bamboo pole coldly snorted and let go of Yang Ming. Regarding the procedure of transferring to the court, the fishman didn't know much about it. Let's look at it and laugh it off. Chapter 40. Boy, what the hell are you doing? What did you do to get in here? It's best to make it clear. I don't care what your identity is outside. Once you're in here you have to follow the rules here. I have the final say here. The towering man, also known as Brother Leopard, moved his neck and then used his hands to make a cracking sound. At this time, someone who knew the inside story whispered a few words in Brother Leopard's ear. Yang Ming remembered this guy. When he was in the interrogation room he saw him. He was in because of robbery. Rape? Ah fuck boy, I didn't see it. You're quite principled, aren't you? Brother Leopard grinned and walked towards Yang Ming, then punched towards Yang Ming's lower body. Yang Ming is a veteran of fighting, how could he be easily hit by Brother Leopard? Brother Leopard thought that one punch would make Yang Ming cry for his father and mother, but he didn't expect that his wrist would be firmly grasped by Yang Ming, making him unable to move. Fuck your mother. Brother Leopard was furious and kicked towards Yang Ming. Yang Ming sneered, his body jumped up and used his knee to hit Brother Leopard's crotch. You want to hit Laozi's little brother? You're wicked enough, Laozi will let you have a good time first. Ah. With a distorted scream, Brother Leopard's body curled up like a prawn as he curled up on the ground. Bean-sized beads of sweat dripped down from his forehead. His eyes bulged as he gasped for breath with his mouth wide open. Brothers, kill him. As Brother Leopard's #1 man, when the thin bamboo saw that his boss was beaten, he immediately prepared to gang up. Don't fucking move. Yang Ming grabbed Brother Leopard's neck and fiercely said, whoever moves, I'll strangle him. Laozi has already killed one person, I don't care about killing one more. Yang Ming knew that most of the people in this detention center were gangsters. If he didn't suppress them he would be in big trouble. So he simply brought up the matter of his murder. Kill. Brother Leopard said with difficulty, aren't you raping her? Have you heard of Ji Shuixing? Yang Ming tightened his grip. I was the one who killed him. Brother Leopard mingled in the underworld, so naturally he had heard of Ji Shuixing's name. Ji Shuixing used to be the gold medal fighter of the underworld gang in S province. His kung fu was excellent but he was a little lecherous. Later, because he offended the woman of the gang's leader, he was reduced to robbing people for a living. Brother Leopard looked at the person in front of him in disbelief. He was actually the person who killed Ji Shuixing. Then it wasn't shameful to be restrained by him. Thinking of this, Brother Bao didn't dare to be tough anymore. He was afraid that Yang Ming would strangle him to death. It was not a big deal for prisoners to die in a fight in the detention center. I'm sorry. Brother, I didn't recognize you and offended you just now. Brother Leopard gritted his teeth and finally gave in. However, in his heart he was cursing the prisoner who told on him just now. Yang Ming snorted and let go of his hand. He didn't intend to cause trouble, but this kind of thing couldn't be avoided. He knew that since the detention center was like this, then the prison must be similar. Although the prison's control was stricter than here, there were still prison bullies. If he wasn't ruthless, his future days would be difficult. I'm in a bad mood. If you want me to vent my anger, then come over. Ugh, brother, I was impulsive just now. You see, we are all mingling in the underworld. Songjiang City is only a small place. After we go out, we will still see each other. Let's just forget about this matter. Mingling in the underworld advocated strength. Brother Leopard saw that Yang Ming was so good at fighting, so he wanted to make friends with him. My name is Bao Sonli. Friends in the underworld give me face and call me Brother Leopard. Brother, what's your name? Since it's a misunderstanding, then let's forget about it. Yang Ming didn't know how many days he would have to stay in the detention center, but it was better to have one more friend than one more enemy. Therefore, he generously waved his hand and said, my name is Yang Ming. Good, straightforward. Brother Yang, right? Bao Sonli clapped his hands and suddenly looked at the person who told on him just now. He kicked his butt and scolded, Little Dazi, why aren't you calling him Brother Yang? Damn, you dare to frame Brother Yang as a rapist. Do you want to die? Little Dazi trembled in front of Yang Ming. He didn't expect Yang Ming to be so ruthless. Even Brother Leopard couldn't beat him. At this moment, his heart was filled with regret. Why was he so annoying? But he clearly remembered that Yang Ming was imprisoned because of rape. Could it be that he remembered wrongly? However, he didn't dare to say too much. No one in this detention center was someone he couldn't afford to offend. They were all big shots, and the one who just came in seemed to be a big shot. Therefore, he couldn't care much and quickly said humbly, Brother Yang, you are a big shot. Don't bother with me. Look at my annoying mouth, it's really annoying. Damn, I think you are the same. Bao Sonli slapped the back of Little Dazi's head. Forget it, Brother Leopard. Yang Ming grabbed Bao Sanli's hand and said, "Don't hit him. What he said is actually not wrong." Bao Sanli was quite strong, but he couldn't escape from Yang Ming's grasp. He was shocked, so he pretended to stop and said, "Since Brother Yang has spoken, I will let you go this time. Why don't you quickly thank Brother Yang?" "Thank you, Brother Yang. Thank you, Brother Yang." Little Dazi quickly nodded his head. "Brother, you said that little Dazi was right. What do you mean? Did you really come in because of that?" Bao Sanli asked curiously. "You can say that." Yang Ming nodded. Since he had nothing to do and Bao Sanli was quite forthright, Yang Ming told Bao Sanli about how he was framed. Fuck his grandfather. Bao Sanli was furious after hearing it. He jumped up from the ground and scolded, "I despise this kind of person the most in my life. He doesn't have the ability to get a woman, so he framed others. Brother, don't worry. When I, Bao Sanli, get out, I will definitely kill him." Chapter 41. Brother Bao, I know you are a loyal person, but let's forget about it. I will settle my own matters. Yang Ming shook his head. "Why? Are you looking down on me?" Bao Sanli said angrily. "How could I? I just don't want to involve Brother Bao. Wang Jitao's family is very powerful. I heard that his father is the chairman of the Xiongfeng group in this city. We can't beat him for the time being." Yang Ming deliberately used the word "for the time being." This was because he knew that this feud had already been formed. It was only a matter of time before he found Wang Jitao and returned the favor. If it was before, he wouldn't dare to say this. But now he wasn't an ordinary person. What was the Xiongfeng group? One day he would be much stronger than him. Yeah, I misunderstood you. You are right. The Xiongfeng group isn't something that small people like us can beat. Bao Sanli was a little sad at the moment. People like them sometimes felt that it was unfair. They were all doing illegal things, but they had to go to jail. On the other hand, those rich people were doing things that were 100 times worse than them and still got away with it. Let's not talk about this anymore. Brother Bao, how did you get in? Yang Ming didn't want to continue this topic. Me? What else could it be? I got into a fight with someone. I made a mistake and didn't figure out the identity of that group of people. That day I went out to drink with a few brothers. I drank too much and went to the toilet to pee. Coincidentally, another person was also peeing. But there was only one urinal, so we fought over it. I beat him up. Bao Sanli said. Bao Sanli said, I thought this was over. I didn't expect this guy to call 5 people after he went back. They came to our private room with batons in their hands. Although there were only 3 of us, we still beat the 5 of them. Later, when the police came, we found out that the 6 people were from the Health Supervision Brigade. We are small gangsters. You can imagine which side the police listened to. My brothers and I were detained for beating up public officials. We even had to pay for their medical fees. After Yang Ming heard it, he patted Bao Sanli's shoulder and said, although those people are officials, you have some problems with this matter. Don't worry too much about it. I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm just a little upset. Why are those people enjoying themselves in the hospital while us brothers are in jail? Bao Sanli said angrily. Ooh. Yang Ming almost laughed. Brother Bao, you are too funny. She is already in the hospital. How can that be called enjoyment? After Bao Sanli heard it, he laughed and said, we were too heavy-handed. I guess these people will have to lie down for a while. Not long after, Yang Ming became familiar with the people in this cell. The bamboo-like man was Bao Sanli's underling, Qi Wenrui. He was also involved in the beating that day. Another underling, Di Lei, was locked up in another cell. The one who came in because of the robbery was called Li Da. He was a wily old fox. He couldn't even remember how many times he had come in. Li Da was purely in administrative detention. It was estimated that he would be released in a few days. As for the old man, Bao Sanli didn't know him. He only said that he was crazy and had been locked up for a long time. According to the other old people in the other cells, it was at least 7 or 8 years. 7 or 8 years. Yang Ming was stunned. How could there be people in the detention center who were locked up for 7 or 8 years without going to court? When he asked Bao Sanli, he didn't know either. He only said that it might be a problem left behind by history. When Yang Ming came to the detention center, he had already eaten dinner. So he talked to Bao Sanli for a while and went to sleep on his bed. In the middle of the night, a cry woke Yang Ming up from his dream. It's raining. It's sunny. Don't forget to wear a cotton padded jacket when it's sunny. It's snowing. It's sunny. Don't forget to wear a straw hat when it's sunny. Who is it? Yang Ming sat up from the bed. He looked up and found that the people in the detention center were all awake. When Bao Sanli saw that Yang Ming was also woken up, he smiled bitterly and shook his head. Then he pointed to the old man's bed and whispered, "The old man is like this. He is awake for a while and confused for a while. He sang in the middle of the night. This isn't the first time." "Then no one cares?" Yang Ming asked curiously. "It is said that in the beginning the prison guards came a few times. But they saw that his mental state was a bit abnormal, so they didn't care about him." Bao Sanli said, "He is a very pitiful old man. I don't see any relatives." Yang Ming sighed and lay back on the bed. The old man sang for a while and then became quiet. After a while there was even breathing sound in the detention center. The next day Yang Ming paid special attention to the old man. When the old man was not sick, he was like a normal person. He followed them to eat and drink, but he didn't say a word. "Hey, old man, you are carrying so many steamed buns. Aren't you afraid of choking to death? There are no more people behind us." A green-haired young man pushed the old man. The steamed buns in the old man's hands rolled to the ground. "Ah." A few people around the green-haired young man laughed. These people were the street punks. They usually bullied the weak for fun. 2 days ago they robbed an old man who sold fruits. They were caught by the police and were sentenced to 15 days of administrative detention. The old man was about to bend down to pick up the steamed buns on the ground. A hand snatched in front of him. The owner of the hand was Yang Ming. Yang Ming grabbed the steamed buns from the ground and rubbed them on the soles of his shoes. Then he stood up. The green-haired young man and the other punks were puzzled. They looked at Yang Ming, who was holding a dirty steamed bun in his hand and smiling. Yang Ming looked at the green-haired young man in front of him. He pinched his cheeks and stuffed the dirty steamed bun into his mouth. The green-haired young man struggled with all his might to close his mouth. However, Yang Ming's force on his mouth was shockingly strong. The green-haired young man could only watch as the dirty steamed bun was stuffed into his mouth. "Since you are afraid of not having any, then I will give you one," Yang Ming said expressionlessly. After that, he didn't forget to use his right hand to press the steamed bun into the green-haired young man's throat. Cough. The green-haired young man pinched his throat and coughed violently. The steamed bun was so stuck that he couldn't breathe. His face turned purple. Together with his green hair, he looked like an eggplant in a vegetable field. "Motherfucker, you don't want to live anymore." The person beside the green-haired young man wanted to get angry, but he was stopped by the person beside him. The person whispered a few words in his ear. The person who wanted to get angry looked at Yang Ming and left with the green-haired young man in fear. Chapter 42. Yang Ming wondered why these people were afraid of him. Then he heard Bao Sanli's voice coming from behind. "What happened? Who the fuck bullied the people in our cell?" Yang Ming looked back and saw Bao Sanli's ferocious look. Only then did he react. It turned out that the person that those punks were afraid of was him. Yang Ming knew yesterday that Bao Sanli was already a tyrant in the detention center. "Nothing, brother Bao. I saw that those punks bullied the old man, so I taught them a lesson," Yang Ming said as he sat at the table with Bao Sanli. The old man also sat with them. "Don't bother about them. They probably just came. They don't have good eyesight," Bao Sanli scolded. After the meal, when they were cleaning up the plates, the old man suddenly came to Yang Ming's side. He smiled at him and whispered, "Thank you, young man." "You're welcome. I can't stand people bullying the old." Yang Ming shook his head indifferently. However, it was Yang Ming's good habit of respecting the old and loving the young that gave him this magical pair of glasses. "Right, old man, why did you come in? I heard that you have been here for 7 or 8 years. After the old man heard it, he looked a little sad. He shook his head and didn't say anything in the end. Yang Ming was a little curious, so he met an old man, Dong Jun, through Bao Sanli. This guy was a thief, and he was a godly thief. It was reasonable to say that this kind of person wouldn't be caught by the police. However, this Dong Jun was a kind guy. He always liked to help some poor people. In this way, as long as there was a case, the police could easily find him. If it was in ancient times, this guy was also a hero thief. Yang Ming listened to Bao Sanli's introduction and had a good impression of Dong Jun. Dong Jun was 22 years old this year. He started to learn from his master when he was 8 years old. Since he started to work alone at the age of 15, he had become a frequent visitor to the police station and detention center. Therefore he naturally knew more about the detention center than others. Even the corrections weren't as good as him. When Dong Jun heard that Yang Ming was interested in the old man, he felt a little strange. In his opinion, people who were in the detention center couldn't even manage their own affairs, so how could they have the time to care about other people's affairs? I just feel sorry for him. He's an old man, yet he's still in the detention center, Yang Ming answered honestly. If that's the case, then I'll tell you. There's nothing else to do here anyway. Dong Jun listened to Yang Ming's answer and laughed. That old man is called Fong Tian. He was considered a top figure in our Songjiang city. In his early years, old Master Fong worked on a construction site. At that time he had a first wife. Later on, she contracted tuberculosis and passed away because he didn't have the money to treat her. At that time, Fong Tian was very sad and swore that he must become a rich man. As a result, he really made a name for himself. From a small bricklayer to a small contractor team leader later on, he had the capital to undertake several big projects. Finally, he made a name for himself in the real estate industry of Songjiang City. He loved his wife very much, so he didn't find another one until he was 50 years old. He met a woman who was 25 years younger than him. This woman was very beautiful. She was his secretary at that time. Later they worked together for a long time and fell in love with each other. Finally they were together. Because Fong Tian was still brooding about the matter of his original wife, Fong Tian was very good to his current wife. Basically, he would grant her every request. Later on, at a cocktail party, the underworld boss of Songjiang City, Husan, took a fancy to Fong Tian's wife. Husan was the tyrant of Songjiang City in the past, and he was unusually lecherous. The woman that he took a fancy to couldn't escape from his palm. But Fong Tian wasn't a pushover either. So, the two people started to fight openly and secretly. Later on, Husan asked a deputy director of the detention center to bribe him, who was the deputy director of our detention center at that time, to get Fong Tian in. Of course, the procedures weren't legal. They were all forged by the deputy director. Just like that, Fong Tian was brought in by Husan without any reason. What about Fong Tian's wife? Asked Yang Ming. That woman, when she heard that Fong Tian was arrested, she immediately got together with Husan. She even helped Husan to do bad things. She even became a tool for Husan to win people's hearts. Said Dong Jun disdainfully. Then what about Husan now? In Yang Ming's memory, there was no one called Husan in the underworld of Songjiang City. He was shot a long time ago. That woman also ate a bullet. Said Dong Jun. Since he fell, shouldn't Fong Tian be fine? Yang Ming was a bit puzzled. That's true, but back then the deputy director and the related personnel were also arrested because they were acting as Husan's protection. Fong Tian was just a small interlude to them. They had long forgotten about this person. So the deputy director didn't even think about Fong Tian. Although Fong Tian's detention procedures were forged, the stamp on it was real. The new director naturally didn't know about the conflict, so Fong Tian was locked up here. Dong Jun shook his head. Moreover, Fong Tian had been crazy since he was locked up. He wasn't willing to say anything. What could others do to him? He was framed again. Damn, it was the same as me. It was all because of a woman. When Yang Ming thought of this, he couldn't help but feel indignant. As for Dong Jun, he looked at Yang Ming's leaving figure. There was an elusive smile at the corner of his mouth. At night, it was time for the detention center to relax. At this time, all the prisoners could go to the hall to watch TV. Of course, in addition to the news broadcast, the TV usually played some patriotic education videos. But for these prisoners who didn't have much entertainment, it was still very attractive. Yang Ming followed Bao Sanli and walked to the hall. Before he walked to the hall, he heard a bustling noise. Damn, don't you know that this is Brother De's position? Fuck off, Brother De. Who knows you? Damn, this kid's mouth is quite stubborn. Brothers, help him loosen his bones and let him enjoy it. No problem, Brother De. You just watch. Hee kid, our technique of loosening bones can't be compared to those massage rooms. If we break your bones, don't blame us. We told you in advance. However, listening to the meaning of their words, there was no difference between telling him or not. Not good, it's delay. Bao Sanli heard the shouting and immediately said to Yang Ming. Yang Ming knew that it was common for prisoners to fight in the detention center, but he didn't expect to encounter it on his first day. However, when he thought about Bao Sanli's attitude towards him when he first arrived, he was relieved. Which prisoner here wasn't a master who could do whatever he wanted? It was normal for there to be some conflicts. Yang Ming followed Bao Sanli and Qi Wenrui to the center of the hall. He saw 5 strong men beating a person. This person must be the delay that Bao Sanli mentioned. Although delay was fighting back, how could he be the opponent of 5 people? Rather than fighting back, it was better to say that he was defending. How dare you touch my brother? Bao Sanli saw that delay was beaten. How could he bear it? He directly rushed over. Qi Wenrui saw that Bao Sanli was going up, so he naturally didn't stay idle. However, these 5 people couldn't be compared to the people from the Health Bureau. These 5 people were like Bao Sanli, veterans of fighting in society. After Bao Sanli and Qi Wenrui rushed in, although the situation had changed, it was still a one-sided situation. Yang Ming shook his head. He knew that he had to make a move. The prisoners here were all in groups. Bao Sanli was the only friend he knew here. Although Bao Sanli and he called each other brothers, if he didn't make a move now, Bao Sanli would inevitably hold a grudge against him. Moreover, he didn't know how long he had to stay in this damn place. If he didn't stand on the right side, there wouldn't be any peaceful days. Thinking of this, Yang Ming didn't say anything and walked toward one of the macho men who was about to attack Bao Sanli's back. He grabbed his collar. And kicked him hard in the back of his waist. The back of the waist was one of the more fragile parts of the human body. If it was seriously injured, it would cause one to be unable to stand up. If it was serious, one would probably spend the rest of his life in a wheelchair. They were ruthless, but Yang Ming was more ruthless than them. During the days when Xia left him and gave up on himself, Yang Ming used crazy fighting to numb himself. He was just like a madman. In private, those gangsters called Yang Ming Crazy Yang. When he fought outside, Yang Ming was still worried that he would injure people. However, in the detention center, Yang Ming was much more relaxed. He was also tempted by those Hong Kong and Taiwan TV dramas. When prisoners fought, they would beat each other to death. Yang Ming also thought that it was natural. In fact, even in the detention center, if you beat someone to death, you would also have to bear the legal responsibility. It was just that it wasn't easy to determine the responsibility in a gang fight. Therefore, Yang Ming killed him the moment he came up. The strong man didn't even have time to react before he fell to the ground. The severe pain in his back made him unable to stand up.